Hello, everyone, and welcome to Board Boss.
And welcome to Board Boss.
We're going to be playing.
Today we're going to be playing
Girl.
Final Girl.
This is a game that I've been really excited.
To play on stream.
On the right one to show you, but it's going to be Final Girl. This is for me.
This is
first
for me
time
playing
this
game.
Game. So this is what it looks like.
So this is what it looks like.
I'm going to go over
this game's really cool. I'm going to go over a couple of things about it.
It's made by Van Ryder Games.
It's made by Van Ryder Games.
Hugely popular,
successful solo game.
I'm hoping it can take the place and sort of the same thing that Barbarian Prince was. Where it's a game where I can play and learn.
And you guys can help me and we can make decisions together.
Go from there.
We can
now to start. What I think is so cool about this game. I've got to show you a few things before we can really get into it. This is going to be my first time playing the game. So if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm sorry. I'm going to be learning it too. This is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to read some of the rules in the rule book mostly because I'm not confident in playing it. I literally just opened this morning, but I thought it would be fun to learn the game with you guys, or anybody who's watching, of course. But first, let's talk about a couple of things about how this game functions. To start, this is the core box. Now, this game doesn't work with anything in this. Well, I mean, the core box is kind of the structure. The setup for everything else that you get. Then you get what's called a movie box or a film box. And that is what actually has the components to play. So the core box functions as a methodology or a framework, and then each of the little film boxes are their own unique films with a killer map. And I guess that brings me to the whole point. Final Girl is a horror game where I'm going to be playing the final girl. In our story, I chose this is the core box. And then I chose Camp Happy Trails. The box that I'm going to start playing. Now I've got to show you guys this cool thing. So I've set up the game. So I'm going to switch over to my kind of general view for you guys to see it. Feel free anybody who's I don't know how many viewers. So I'm going to show you just some more. I'm going to show one of the most awesome things I think I've ever experienced in a board game. And then we're going to go through. We're going to finish some of the finalized setups. We'll go from there. And we'll go from there. So this is what the setup board looks like. This is the thing. And what we're doing, I've got to show you this first. I've got to show you this first. Yoink. Yoink. So this is the initial game box. Let me try it. The core box. I've got stuff sticking out of there. So this is the core box. So this is the core box, right? And then there's your little. Divider thingy, and it has a nifty little plastic bit that goes over it that contains all of the pieces. Now, when I opened the film box, which looks like this, I was greeted with something absolutely phenomenal. And that is Hi Mama Bear 18. So what I was greeted with was this. So I tried to open it like any other box. And the whole top came off. And that's because the two lids for this box are actually the playmats for the villain that comes in the box. It's in the right spot. Put this in the right spot. On the flip side, the location that comes in the box. And I just think that's freaking awesome. So what they've done is, I messed it up. What they've done is you can actually see Hans the Butcher. That's the name of closer. So Hans the Butcher. It's named the Big Bad. This is where all of his stuff goes. And they've got this handy dandy little plastic dude that goes on top of it.
that goes on top of
that lid off.
So when you take that lid
that
off,
stuff doesn't fall over.
That stuff doesn't fall over
when you flip it over.
And here's Camp Happy Trails. And here's Camp Happy Trails. Which, like I said, I messed up.
Its little thing.
Here is its little thing.
You got to put it on right.
And it's got to put it on right.
Mama Bear used to work with me. Do you want me to say your name on stream?
Do you want me to say your name on stream?
I think I have a guess as to who you are.
I think I have a guess as to who you are.
It starts with a K and ends with a...
It starts with a K and ends with a
or Well, I just gave you the two halves.
I just gave you the two halves of it.
With a ri.
With a ri.
So, that's that. That's the cool board.
That's the cool board.
We'll see. I think it's Krista.
I think it's Krista.
All right. So I'm going to set up this game. Now, I hope this isn't too boring for everybody, but we'll see. This is a game where I'm going to be playing the final girl. We're playing in the location Camp Happy Trails. We're fighting Hans the Butcher. The whole idea is that my final girl, which is going to be represented by this tiny little token, is going to be Lori. You are super X ho? What does that even mean?
What does that even mean?
Super X ho. I can't tell if I should be insulted by being an X ho.
What does that mean?
Echoey.
I'm super echoey. I'm super echoey.
I wonder why. Hey, did that fix it? Can you hear me now better? Echo, echo, echo. Oh, it's amazing what happens if you turn off all of the mics and only have the one that you actually want to hear you. So, was I Poppy too? Was I echoey and Poppy? We'll find out. So anyway, this is my final girl. Oh, weird. Wow, my focus on this is really bad. But anyway, her name's Lori. You could tell she's a badass blonde. What I'm going to be doing is I will be playing Lori, fighting Hans the Butcher, and he is... they say he wears a worn butcher's smock, stained dark with blood. His sledgehammer, which he drags behind him, supposedly weighs over 50 pounds and could crush an elephant's skull. It's like a weight of a liquor box. He's over 7 feet tall and his eyes glow a bright scarlet. But the worst part is the iron mask he wears, fashioned to look like a pig, and the wet, crunching sounds that can be heard beneath it. So, that's who he is. He is assaulting and killing all of the people at Camp Happy Trails. In Camp Happy Trails, the flavor text is, "Welcome to Camp Happy Trails, home to teenage love, unforgettable friendships, and idyllic memories. Go fishing on the lake and get in some archery practice at the range. Listen to the ghost stories around the fire pit, or sneak off to make out point. Life is always an adventure at Camp Happy Trails." Wait a second. Is that screaming I hear in the distance? Oh, fiddlesticks. Those spooky stories must be getting to me. I'm sure it's just screams of joy from the other campers. Hot dog! Summers at Camp Happy Trails really are to die for. So that's the lead up to that. And this is Camp Happy Trails, the place where I will be fighting the butcher. I say fighting, I'm really going to be running and trying to escape. So each of these spots that you see is a little location that either I can be at, Hans can be at, or the victims can be in. So the victims are going to get placed here in a second, and my goal is to save as many victims as I can, as well as escaping myself. So let's get that all set up. sees everybody.
Here,
I'm gonna get this all.
He's watching here. I'm gonna get this all set up here. He's watching here. So
making sure that the camera is seeing everything that I see.
The camera's still seeing everything that I see.
The first thing I'm going to do
is I've already set this board up.
There's not much that's different.
There's not much that's different that changes based on each location except the location itself.
And then the items that are available.
The items that are available
up here,
which are up here.
So you guys can see it a little bit better.
So you guys can see it a little bit better.
And of course, our butcher friend. So the way this game starts, all of the terror cards from both the location and the villain
horror trope
together. And then I dealt out 10 to me, and those will be my terror cards.
And those will be my terror cards for this game.
You also get events based on where you are.
Those get shuffled and placed in a pile.
And then each of my guys,
each of our guys
So the final girl,
as
you can see, she has 5 lives.
I'll
get closer.
She has 5 lives.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of these final little tokens, shuffle them up and put them there, and then give myself
4 life.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4.
There's 4.
So 4 life, that's my life.
Now when I get down to my final life here,
this gets flipped over, and there's something
random that
can be under that.
I might heal.
I might die.
We might die.
Actually, we don't know.
And you actually
get to the final one, you go on that.
When you get to the final one.
And now it's Hans. Now Hans has 12.
Can't really see
that number, that's how many he
Can't really
has.
see that number,
He gets the same benefit.
He gets the same benefit of one of these
cool doodads, and then 12 more life tokens on his
board.
That's 3, 4, 5, 6.
That's 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8, 9, 10.
That's way more than 12.
2, 4, 6,
2,
8,
4,
10,
6,
12.
8, 10, 12. Okay.
And we're going to be learning this game together.
If I'm a
little slow on the uptake for the first round,
I'm sorry.
Echo again.
Everybody who's watching, echo again.
Oh, there we go. I bet it went away. Did it? So, we've each got our benefit if we get our last life benefit. I've got the tarot cards set up. What I've done is I've shuffled all the item cards, and on this board, which it's a little small, so you guys might not be able to see it, but there's a couple of places where you can search for items. So there's a place here. Let me bring that up so everybody can see it. So on this board, there's locations that you can, these green circles, you can get people out. That's there and there. These orange circles, we can look for items. That's here and here. And then the rest of them are just locations that we move around to. You can see there's connecting spots and numbers, and I'm going to figure out what those numbers mean in a moment. So that all is there. We shuffled all the item cards. Each of those locations that has a searchable spot has a linked item deck. And these have been shuffled, and then you flip the top one of each over, and when you flip it over, you get items. And I'm going to bring them over to, bring this whole works over to the close-up cam. Good. So this is Camp Happy Trails. These are those locations I was talking about. So this is where you can get people out, here and here. And then these 3 locations are places where you can search. And then, as I've explained, I've shuffled all of the item decks, and each of them has a linked location there. And these are the items that I've retrieved. So these items are what is easily searchable in each of those locations, and I know they exist in those locations. So I can go there and get them specifically. So there is a whistle, an old revolver, and an aluminum bat. I'm not going to read over what each of those does yet, because I want to make sure that we've kind of covered how the basic gameplay goes. But I'm going to put those back in their spots. And now I'm going to draw from the setup deck so that each of the boards, which means each of the boxes that has a location, comes with multiple setups for your initial starting position. So I'm just going to draw one at random. And then I put the rest of them away. And then this is meditation hour, which means the enemy is attacking. The horror guy is attacking during this time. And what this tells me is how many things to put on each one. So what it says is that my character, which is going to be this little orange meeple. Orange? That's purple. This little purple meeple is going to go in this position here. Then it tells me that the killer, that's what I should be calling him, the killer, is going to start in the lake, like he's arisen from the lake. Then I place out my little guys. These are my little victims. These are all the children at Camp Happy Trails. Now, how I see this going is all of these kids are here, and Lori, the final girl, is a camp counselor who's down on her luck, and she is being attacked by this killer, Hans the Butcher. Now, for some reason, Hans is upset with us as Lori and is after us, and we are the only one that can save all of these kids and hopefully ourselves. So, following the guidelines of the setup card, that's what the board looks like. So we've got all of these kids that are going to get murderlated, and we are going to attempt to get around and save them and get rid of Hans. So now let's set up the Hans board. So this is what Hans looks like. He's a scary pig-faced guy. And in the same way that there's all of those item cards and all of those setup cards, each of the villains has multiple finale and dark power cards. And what you do is you shuffle these up and you draw one at random to go on his player mat over that little symbol, and it kind of covers up the top half of him, and then those other ones get set to the side. Same goes with dark power. We're going to shuffle those up, draw one at random, and we put that there. And it makes this cool little image match up. All right. So, there we've got that going for us. So now, we've got him. He has dark powers. So what's going to happen is these are his three abilities. He's got 2 attack, which means he'll do 2 damage each time he hits. He moves 1, and this is where his token is. Now, as his bloodlust goes up, this increases, and each row tells you what's going to happen. So as this moves up, at this point where it says dark power, if his bloodlust gets up to this, it'll activate his dark power, and this will get flipped over. Once it goes all the way up to the top and restarts, he recovers HP and he discards the next terror card. So each of these little symbols, you'll see this Jason mask. The Jason mask represents terror and the final girl getting more and more terrified. So my efficiency goes down as the terror goes up. So right now we're starting at 0. And this is the final girl board. So this is my terror track. The game is played in rounds where I play by my lonesome. And what happens is I'll be playing these action cards. And I've got a hand of action cards that I can use, and they take 0 time. Now, these are starter cards. So as I use these, they won't use up any of my time, but I will have the option of getting better cards in the future. When I play a card, I will roll the number of dice equal to the horror track. So in this case, when I have 0 and 1 horror, or terror, then I get 3 dice. As soon as this villain, killer token moves and gets to the 2, suddenly I drop down to only having 2 dice. Then when it moves all the way down and we get into the super bad, I only have 1 dice. So my goal is going to be as efficient as I can as this goes around, as quickly as I can. The time track is tells us how long I have before everything goes to hell. And some of the more effective actions will use up more time, and I can earn back time with other plays. Again, I've not played the game yet, so I don't know how much this interacts. So let's go back to the whole scene. So this is what the board looks like right now. This is where the close-up camera is, so anything that's here you guys will be able to see in a closer view as well. So we've got the villain, the killer here. We have the location here, my little character is there, and the villain is here. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to move the map down here so that when I switch to that, we can see it a little bit better, so you guys all have a clearer idea of where I am. And then I'll just switch back to that when... Wait. That camera's moved a touch. There we go. So I'm going to put the villain over here and Camp Happy Trails over here. Because I think that's the screen. This is the one you guys are going to want to be able to see more clearly. There we go. Okay. Woo. You can't tell, but cards are just spinning around. Okay. There's my arm. All right. So here we go. We're going to get started. So put my dice over there, and then we'll see. So the first turn, I've got everything set up. We've got Hans the Butcher has his 2 powers. We've got the terror cards, event cards, and then all of our little enemies. Now, let me just read what the goal is again, so that everybody knows what's going on. So, I am the final girl, facing off against a horrific killer. I'll be moving around the location to search for helpful items, save victims, and confront or run away from the killer. Meanwhile, the killer will be wreaking havoc in many ways, but most of all by killing innocent victims and attacking you. The game only ends one of 2 ways. Either the final girl destroys the killer, or the killer slays her. In the rare instance when they happen at the same time, the final girl won, making the ultimate sacrifice to rid the world of a vile monster. So, strategy is completely up to me. The turn order works in the following way. You have the action phase, the planning phase, the killer phase, the panic phase, and the upkeep phase. Now we'll go through these as we go, but I'm going to figure out what I want to do. So, action phase starts with me being able to choose one of the cards that I have in my hand to play. Now, I've got an attack, which isn't going to do me any good because we're way over here. So I've got this weak attack, which isn't going to do anything because he's not near me. Oops. I've got focus, which reduces, as I flip the camera off, which reduces the horror level and increases the time I have, or vice versa. So I don't think I want to do that. Another focus. A short rest, which heals me and takes time if I don't roll well. I've got walk and walk. So I think what I've got to do is walk. Now, my final girl is here. The escape points are here and here. One of the benefits of getting those victims out is as I get victims out up to 6, I get these benefits. So the first one is reducing the terror level. Now, I don't think I'm going to get anybody out right now, but if I reduce the terror level, then I can get more dice, which is going to be more beneficial. This one increases the time, and this one heals me. So I want to be getting victims out, and I've got to kill the killer, or I will lose the game. So I'm going to start by walking. So I can play action cards. And the way that the time works is you get to play action cards up to the amount of time that you have. So it starts at 6 time. This is kind of a big view and you can't see it very well, but this is 6 time. As I use up my 6 time by playing action cards, I will, if I hit the 0, immediately end my turn. So what I want to do is I want to get the most plays as I can. So, what am I going to do? All right, so first I'm going to go walking on Walkabout. So for right now, I get 3 dice, because my horror level is at 3, to go walking. If I get 2 successes, which look like this, that's a success. That's another thing. Like I said, haven't played this game yet, so... Oh! So, on the die there are 3 sides. There's no success, success, and partial success. Now, what that partial success side means is to get it to be a success, I can discard 2 cards, reducing the number of cards in my hand and my efficiency in that turn. So, let's see what happens. I want to move. My walk card has move up to 2 spaces. Let's see how close I can get it to this one and still have it be visible. Boop. There we go. So move up to 2 spaces for 2 successes. Move up to 1 space for 1 success. Or bad stuff, hurts myself if I don't succeed. And what it says is, 1 foot in front of the other, nice and slow. There's a bloodthirsty killer after me, but that's no reason to panic, right? So let's see. Let's roll 3 dice. Oops, that one's going to count. Oh, dang. So I got 0 successes. Now, when you roll and get 0, you have a choice. I can discard 4 cards to get all of my... to be able to get the 2 successes for the regular walk, which would let me move 2 spaces. Or I can take the negative and lose 2 time. Now that sounds really bad. So I'm just going to use 2 cards. And let's get rid of... I don't think we're going to... Yeah, we'll get rid of weak attack and short rest. So I'm going to get rid of 2 cards. Put them somewhere. Put them up there. To turn one of these to a single success. So now, the card for 1 success is move up to 1 space and minus 1 time. So now that one's played, and I get to move 1 space. So I think I'm just going to move... Gosh, I have to move closer to him. We're going to move here, so I don't get closer to him. And now I'm in a location with a victim. Now, what's cool about the victims is when you move, you can move up to 2 victims with you every time you move, unless the killer's there. If the killer's there, all bets are off and they are just a screaming mess. So we're going to try to stay away from the killer as best we can as we move through this. So now I get to play another action card. Now I have another walk, which I think is what I'm going to do. So we're going to play another walk card. That's this card here. So we're going to play another walk card and roll 3 dice because our terror level is, or horror level is still at 0. So my 3 dice, and that's 2 successes, which is what we were looking for. Now, unfortunately, what I'm going for is I'm going for the cabins here, which is only 1 space away. So I'm going to just bring this guy with me and go to the cabins. That's the end of that. I can choose to end my movement anytime I want. In this case, I want to stay here so that I can hopefully get the opportunity to search whatever's there. And I know that because that's the cabins, that there is a whistle on the top of the cabins deck. And I'm going to read that whistle to you because it's kind of hard to see. It says, "Stupid campers, gotta get their attention somehow, even if it is risky. So the whistle allows me to spend 1 time to use the whistle once per action phase. When used, all victims adjacent to me will move to my space. Then all enemies move towards the final girl. As long as I have the whistle, 1 additional victim will follow you. Oh, that's kind of cool. So you can move with 3 victims instead of just 1. Pretty nice. Oh, I've put stuff up behind my image, and now it's harder to see me. I don't like that. Let's move me down. There we go. So, that's that. I've used up 1 more time to do that move action. And now I have 2 more cards. Now, I don't have anything else to do. You don't just get to do stuff. You have to buy the cards to be able to have the ability to change. So, I don't have anything else to do in this turn. Next turn, I'm going to want to search that place. So now it's the planning phase. So at this point, I get to purchase action cards. And what that means is I can spend time to purchase action cards from the action tableau. If the cost of the card is greater than 0, move the time marker down 1 space on the track for each time spent. The cost of each action card is shown in the bottom right corner of the card. You may not purchase action cards that were played. Yep. When you finish purchasing action cards, reset the time marker to 6. Oh, okay. So maybe I don't want to end my turn yet. We'll see. So I have 4 time left, which means I'll have 4 time to spend on cards. Now, if I want to search, which I think is a specific card. Oh, it's right here. So this is the search card. 2 successes lets me take the top 2 item cards on my space and choose one, placing the other face up or underneath face down. Take the top item, or take the top item and a bunch of stuff happens. And that costs 2. So I could get that and something else. I don't know what all these cards do, so I'm kind of reading them now. I think what I'll do is I will end my turn with 4 left. And I will buy a search card, which is what we just got done talking about. That'll let me search in there. And that leaves me with, so that's 2. I've got 2 more. I'm going to buy the 2 close calls. Now, I don't know why I would want this card yet, but because it looks different, I like it. It says play after any horror roll to re-roll any 1 die or re-roll all dice for -2 time. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to have 2 of those, and those get added to my hand. Now, I reset time to 6. So that was the 2 to get me to 0. Now, I reset my time to 6, and I put all of the played action cards that I played on that turn back in the action card tableau. And kind of a nifty thing about the 0 cost starter cards is that they all go in a pile, because I've used all of these. They all go in a pile and go right here, because when you buy them on that turn that is the bot turn, you get to buy all of them at once, as opposed to buying, 4 cost. You get all of them because they all cost 0 time. All right, so we got that done. Now, it's the killer phase. Resolve the killer actions. And I'm going to read what the killer phase is so I don't mess it up. Killer phase. Resolve the killer action as indicated on the finale card next to the associated killer icon. And so that is right here. Now, you guys can't see that very well, so I'm going to grab him and bring him down so that we can see him and try not to lose any of the tokens. That was the killer's sound. That was not the same. All right, so killer action is he's going to attack the nearest, so that little symbol there, it's kind of hard to see, but that is the there's a victim symbol, and then behind it is the final girl symbol, and that is the attacky symbol. So he will just attack whoever he's next to. Now, fortunately, he ain't next to nobody, so he's not going to attack anyone. That's his action. Then, draw the top terror card and resolve its effects from top to bottom. So I'm going to do this down here where you guys can hopefully see it a little bit better. Let me get it on top. So we're going to draw that terror action. Boom! Unholy Speed. Minor Dark Power. Hans moves one additional space for each big stompy killer boot. And this means he gets 2 extra health. So this isn't great for me. It's a minor dark power, which is added to the Hans card. And, I might have messed up. This shows that he gets 2 extra life. So when we go back to the overall scene, you'll see he has these little spots up here for his cards. And this minor dark power gets added, and we're going to put an extra 2 life on that card. So now he's got 14 life. Oh, you can't see that card very well. Bloop. There we go. So now he has 14 life, and I have to take the power or the life off of this first. Now, what I was talking about where I said I thought I might have messed up, that is a little terror face, and I may have not increased the terror to the adequate spot. So let me just double check. Horror. So he's starting horror level 4, which means I should have only rolled 2 dice. I was cheating the whole time. So, in order to repay myself for cheating, we will just ignore it and move on. So now, he does the things. Great. So he's not going to do anything. He doesn't move, because that doesn't give him any move. It just makes him move better. And this doesn't make him move, so we're okay. Nothing happens. So that was the killer action. Now it's the panic action, or panic phase. If a victim was killed this turn, panic all victims in the killer's space. Now again, he's here, which you guys can all see still, and there are no victims in his spot with him. So he's not going to kill anybody, and nobody's going to run away. Now it's the upkeep phase. Reveal finale if no terror cards are left. So there's still a deck of terror cards, which means that doesn't get revealed. So we just continue. Just to make sure. Bloop, bloop, bloop. There's a bunch of rules that don't matter. Panic phase, upkeep phase. Great. So now we just go around and do it again. It'll all go a lot faster now. So, that's awesome. Okay. So the close calls, I just reread it. So a horror roll is anytime you roll for an action card. So this card will let me re-roll any 1 die or all the die for 2 times. So it's actually quite a good card. So it's my turn again. We've already talked about what I was going to do. I'm going to search. So I'm going to search, and I only get 2 dice because with Hans's starting horror at 4, I only have 2 dice to roll because his starting horror was at 4. So here we go. I'm going to roll that. Dang it! All right, so again, the issue was if I get 2 successes, I get to do everything I want. If I get 1 success, I kind of get to do what I want. And with 0 successes, a bunch of bad stuff happens. 2 horror, 2 time, it's terrible. So I only rolled 1 partial success. That was what I rolled. So with 1 partial success, I've got to do something else. Now, fortunately for me, I have this close call card. Now, I'm going to discard this to re-roll any one die, because I've got 2 of these, so I might as well. I'm going to re-roll this blank one. Let's see what I get. Oh. Oh, no. Oh, no, oh, no. So I've only got 3 cards in my hand. So with 3 cards in my hand, I could discard these 2 focus ones to get a success and keep this, which would be useful later. I think that's what my plan's going to be. So Lori goes into the cabin, searches around, has a lot of difficulty, can't figure it out, pulls it from the inside her powerful, impassioned heart, and says, "Camper, where'd you put the whistle?" And the camper helps out, and by discarding those 2, I turn one of these to a success, which means my search card gets the 1 success action, which is take the top item card at my space. And it costs me 1 time. So there's 1 time. And now I get the top card, which is that cool whistle, which lets me have more people. And I'm going to hang on to that. That gets to go down here in my backpack. Doesn't use any hands, so it's just available to me. And then I have no cards left. So I can't continue my action phase anymore. So my action phase is done. So now we move on to the planning phase, which means I get to purchase cards. Now, like I said before, I get to purchase this entire stack of 0 time cards for free because they don't cost any time. So I'm going to buy all of those cards again from this tableau and put them in my hand. Put my hand right there so you guys can see it. So there's my hand. So now that was free and I have 5 time left. So what do I want to buy? 5 time. Nothing's free. Well, there's only a couple of things that actually work with time this way. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a sprint card, which lets me move a bunch. That's 2, dropping me down to 3. And because an improvise happens to cost 3, I'm going to buy it as well. That brings me down to 0, which ends my purchasing time. Now, I want to point this out. When I read through the rules, I thought it was a very interesting feature of the game, and it is quite cool. This stack of cards, which is what I played last turn, only returns to the tableau at the end of the purchasing phase. So now it's going to go back, and I've got all of these cards again that I can purchase from. But what it does is, when you play a card in that turn, it's going to be a whole nother round before you have access to that card again. So if I were better at board games, I would be able to plan my turns better. But I'm not better, so I'm just sort of guessing at what I'm going to do. Now these cards go back into the tableau in the place that they would have been. These are my 0 cost ones, so they're going to go right there for 0. And here's my close call that costs 1, and that goes here. Now, I know you guys can't see the details of the board very well. That's why I'm trying to be very vocal about what I'm doing. But I will point out that that in this tableau here, what's happening is the cost of these starts at 0 here, and then increases 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or sorry, it goes 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, and 6. So you can tell that the farther up it goes to the right, the more expensive it gets. Now, in the future, I might switch how that works because that doesn't make a lot of sense to me visually, but it did to the designer, so we're going to keep it that way for this time. Now, is the end of that. I've played my action cards. They've returned. So now it's the killer phase. So first, he attacks whoever is in his location. Again, Hans is at the bottom of the lake with that big old iron mask stuck on the bottom, not doing anything. So there's nobody there for him to beat up. So he doesn't beat up nobody. But now we have to draw a terror card. So I will bring this up again a little bit higher so that we can see it, and I will draw the top card. He just keeps coming! Oh no. So that's probably not great. So what you can see here is that is the girl or nearest victim movement attack. And you can see these little white arrows that are between them. What that means is he's going to do these actions in order. So he's going to start by moving. He's going to target the nearest victim. And there are two, so I get to choose which one he goes after. And I'm going to have him go that way. Down. He's going to move and he's going to attack. So we'll switch over to the board a little bit so that we can see where he's going to go. So he's right here, and he has a movement of 1 plus 1 for his unholy speed card. So Hans, he's going to step. It sounds like Schwarzenegger. Actually, it doesn't sound like anything. Probably goes, So he is going to step 2, but he only needs to go 1. Nearest victim, and he's going to slaughter them. So he attacks for 2. Unfortunately, for all the little children that he's massacring, he just kills them. Any damage dealt to a victim just kills him, which is very sad. So he's going to kill he's going to kill one. So this one dies. Stabs it. He smashes him with his 50-pound elephant bashing hammer. Brings it down on this poor child's innocent frame, and they are dead. So that child gets removed and moved over to my dead victim spot, which is right there. So then Hans, who has successfully mutilated somebody, gets a increase in his fury. Now, or his bloodlust. Fortunately for us, me in particular, that doesn't change any of his stats this time. The next time it goes up, the fear will increase, which is not great for me. So that was that. That was his terror card. So he played his terror card. Now it's panic. If a victim was killed this turn, panic all victims in the killer's space. Now, the panic we'll get to in a second, but for now, there's nobody in his space. He's just walked over to the cliff. We climbed up with the cliff and mutilated some innocent child that was sitting there on the cliff. I assume that's the kissing point. So what I think happened was there was a small, maybe an 8-year-old boy who thought that he was going to get to go to let's make him older than that. Make out point's a little early for 8-year-olds. So let's make him 13. 13-year-old boy going to make out cliff, expecting the love of his young life to join him, and instead what joins him is a large sledgehammer through the brain. Fortunately, his love wasn't there. No one else was there. He was alone and sad. So there's no one to see this murder, so no one runs away. Good for me. Bad for poor little lonely boy Brad. So, hi Crying Sane. Nice to see you there. So now we've got Murder Boy Brad, and me, Lori, is going to try to save some more people. So that was his turn. That was the panic phase. Now it's the upkeep phase. We reveal the finale. If there are no tarot cards left, there are tarot cards, so we're not worried about it. And then we rearrange items, which is, the rearrange items happens if we want to move an item card from our hands into our backpack. Now, I only have a whistle that's around my neck. I don't need to worry about what's in my hands. It doesn't take 2 hands to wield a whistle. So we just get to move on. So now it's the action phase. I'm kind of figuring this out as we go, but it seems like this game works mostly on a timer, and that timer is the terror cards. So as long as I can get more people out, build my character up, maybe get a weapon or 2, and I keep running away from Han so he doesn't beat me up, I will be able to win. But if I let this terror deck run out or it gets too far, I'm going to be in dire straits. Now, we've got this whistle. I can get an extra person. Oh, no. Oh, no. Okay. So, a quick recap. As I said, the killer was here and he moved up to the cliff and killed Sad Boy Brad. Now, I thought that was Makeout Point, but in fact, Makeout Point is up here where these two guys are. Making out, right? During meditation time. Brad, in this story now, was the sad third wheel. That when they started, Brad ran away and went and hid here, and then got his brain smashed in by a sledgehammer. So that's the new story. Sledgehammer, sad boy, third wheel Brad. With makeout partners Josephine and Daisy. So, unfortunately, this is a little bit hard to see from here. That's why I switched to this. You can see that the cliff and Makeout Point are connected, but Makeout Point is not connected to any other space. So, unfortunately, I think Josephine and Daisy are done for. They were mean to Lori earlier on in the film, and now Lori is not so worried about Josephine and Daisy. So we're just going to let them have their nice time and hopefully die in ignorant bliss of each other's succulent mouths. So with that in mind, we're going to try to rescue as many other people as we can. So we're back at 6 time. All right, let's start with this. This one. Okay, so this is Improvise. Now, Improvise is a card that if I succeed is going... Oh, we're not in the right spot. Okay, so Improvise is a card that allows me to make more successes on the dice. So I'm going to start with this card. So let's play this one. I'm going to roll my 2 dice because it's the horror level right now. Oh. Okay, I need to do... Okay, so... Look, y'all. I got to look at these. So I've only rolled 1 success this whole time, but I want to see how many successes are on each die face. So on the 1 side, blank. On the 2 side, blank. Okay, so 1 and 2 are blank. 3, mild success, where you have to spend 2 cards to get it. 4, mild success. You have to spend 2 cards to get a success. 5 and 6 are both successes. So really, this is a 33.33333333% chance to get any of the 3 options. So there's only 3 options, 6 sides of the dice. So you could roll a D3 if they existed and have this same setup. So if I do a reroll, I have the option, I have a pretty good chance of getting not that, which I think would be beneficial. So let's do that. So I've used this Improvise card. This is the one that's happening now. I'm going to spend my Close Call card, which is play after any horror roll, to re-roll a die. So we're going to re-roll this one that came up blank and really hope for something that isn't blank. Okay. Oh, man. So the deal is, if I get 1 success, it doesn't take any time. And for the next horror roll only, so the next time I have to roll the dice, all 3s and 4s are successes, which jumps my chance at success from a 33.333333% to a 66.666666%. Or I get 2 successes, and then it makes all of my future rolls 3 and 4s count as successes. Now that sounds pretty good, but I've only got these 5 cards. So if I spent 4 to get 2 successes, I would only get 1 roll anyway. So I'm just gonna so I've got these 4 zeros in my hand, and then this one. I'm not considering this because it's cost me time to buy. So I want to actually use this one for its best option. So we're gonna keep that. we're not worried about attacking or resting yet because I'm not in any place to do that. So we're going to discard these two to make my next horror roll count as 3s or 4s, or make 3s and 4s count as successes. So that happened. Didn't cost me any time, so we're on to the next part of this turn. Now I've got 2 walk cards and a sprint card. And if we go to my close-up cam, Lori has to move 1, 2, 3 to get this guy. Let's call him Francis. Francis. So Francis has 3 moves to get out. Or I could do 1, 2, 3 moves and get this guy, and then do 2 to get out. Ooh, that's what we're going to do. I think we're pretty safe to do that. So let's start with sprint. So we're going to start by playing sprint. I get 2 dice. Oh, go back to the screen where we can see me. I get 2 dice. And that's 2 successes for sprint. Because we used improvise to make all the 3s and 4s, that was what I rolled, all the 3s and 4s count as a success. So sprint counts as a success, which lets me move 3 spaces. So we're going to go. So we're here. We're going to go 1, 2, 3. Ha ha ha! I have this grand plan now. Grand plan. Grand plan. So, I've got Francis. I just ran into another camper. Billy Joe. So Francis and Billy Joe are in the same spot as me, Lori. And Lori has a whistle, which allows me to summon all of the victims that are within 1 of me towards me. But it also summons the bad guy. Now, if I summon all of them to me because of this whistle, because of this whistle, I'm not limited to only 2 victims. I can have 3 victims with me. So I could summon 1 to me, use my walk action, move 2, and get them all out. Billy, Bob, Francis, and whoever else is close to me. Great plan. That's what we're going to do. So, here we are. Now I'm here. I just spent 1 energy to sprint to here. Now, I'm going to spend 1 energy to use the whistle. Boop. The whistle, when used, all victims adjacent to you will move to my space. So this victim will move in with Billy, Bob, and Francis into my space. And the enemy will move towards the girl equal to his movement, which is 2. Now, there's only one issue, and that is that now, so he was here, I'm here, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to get to me that way, or 1, 2, 3, 4 to get to me that way. So he moves in this direction 2 spaces because that's his movement. Now, it's still my action phase. Lori's going to save them all. I hope. What does that sound like? If like a 16-year-old girl says, save them all. She's a strange person. I'm going to save them all. No, she's got to be more strong than that. I'm going to save them. Look at that face. Look at that face. That is no weakling. She's strong. So, I've got a couple more options. I've got 2 more walk cards. So we're going to play 1 walk. And hopefully I get the move up to 2 spaces option. Yes. So that is a 3 and a 5. And because of my improvise, I've got successes for 3s and 4s. So I've got a success there. That's 2 successes, letting me move 2 spaces. So we're going to pop over here, and we're going to move 2 spaces. 1 space to here, 2 spaces here. Now, remember, I've got the whistle, which lets me move 3 people. So we're going to move 1. What a mess. 1. Oh, come back. Hey, Billy Bob. What are their names? Francis. Oh no, I forgot their names already. And I named them. Well, okay, we're going to get them out of here and it won't matter. So, stacking them like cordwood, we're going to move it 1 more spot. And then a cool thing about this game, whenever they get to an exit point, you can send them out of the road. So I can kick them out. Bloop, bloop. And now, they're going to go on my character card. So the first thing that happens is they're going to fill up these top 3 spaces. Actually, I think I get to decide what spaces they go on. Yeah, I do. So we're going to get rid of a terror. We're going to take an action card. And we're going to get 2 time back. So those 3 things are going to happen. So we're going to move this back. Oh, gosh. All right, so that was my walk card. It cost me a time, which brings me down to 3 time. I've got 3 little dudes to place on our card. So the first one, we're going to get 2 time back. Then we're going to take an action card for 2. Now, it's just a free action card. Let's sprint again. And then we get to get rid of a terror. Now, I said before that getting rid of terror really doesn't make a lot of sense. However, in this case, I've got all of this track to the left here that hasn't been, that can go positive. So I'm going to use that and drop it down to 3. Doesn't help me any right now, but maybe I'll be able to keep doing that. So it's still my action phase. I've got 5 more time. And I now have kind of cleared this side out. So let's sprint again. So we're going to sprint, which is roll 2 cards. 2 cards. Roll 2 dice. Ah! That's 2 successes. That's 3 movement and 1 time. So 1 time down and then 3 movement. One, 2, 3. I'm going to stop. So I was here. 1, 2, 3 in the cabins. And the cabins card is a mysterious pills. No telling what the hell these are. No telling what the hell these are, but I'm out of options. Down the hatch and fingers crossed. So I can get rid of this during the action phase and heal or get rid of a horror. That doesn't sound too bad. Unfortunately, I don't got no time left. Ain't no time. So I've got 1 walk card left. That's going to stay in my hand. And we're going to go on to the next turn. So the next step of the turn. Next is planning, where I get to purchase action cards. I have 4 time left. So I get 4 times worth of cards. There's some cool cards here. I like this getting the victims out mentality, but I don't have any movement. I know I want a search card because I'm in a place where I can search, and that's going to be 2. I'm going to take all my zeros back, because why wouldn't you? And then I'm going to, I have 2 left. Let's take the other search card. So now that's my hand. I've got 5 cards in hand, 0 time. It's the end of the time of the planning phase, and these all go back in their spots. I've got 0, sprint. Oh yeah, the sprints are back. Improvise. There we go. So now that's all done. Now it is, the time resets to 6. And it's the killer phase. And there's going to be murder. It's all murder. So as we can see, the killer's in a place with somebody, and the beginning of his turn is my audio delayed? Anybody watching? I bet it is. I bet it has been the whole time. There we go. That's probably better. Okay. That was my sprint card that I didn't get to put back in the spot. That's my turn. Killer gonna kill. So now the killer's moved down to the docks, and this was Earl the janitor at the docks. He was taking a break, smoking a cigarette. And the killer, Hans, rises slowly from the waters. I don't know if that's true. I think my audio's always a little off, like way late, and it should be better now. Did it get better? Bad internet, man. The Mitchell of many names. And now I just wait, hoping that sound. I ask questions about sound and then stop talking, and I'm sure that's really beneficial to everyone around. That that helps a bunch. Anyway, so murder's gonna murderlate. I knew him a long time. Earl was a good worker. He would clean the docks, and he'd sweep, and he loved that mop in a way that no one should really love a mop, but we all appreciated him. And, seeing him with his body smashed and crushed like that, it really took something out of me. Anyway, so Earl's dead. He dies, comes over here. The bloodlust track goes up 1, and Hans gets angrier. Now, unfortunately, the bloodlust track went up 1, which means my horror goes down 1, or up 1. And now I am right back to where I was before I took rid of the horror in the earlier stage of the game. So that was his killer action. Now we flip a terror card. He wants fresh blood. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, he targets a victim. He's 2 away. He moves twice, and he attacks the victim. So he moves twice. 1, 2, and he's got 4 movement. Well, 2 movement twice, so he's fine. He gets to that victim, and then he attacks him. His attack is 2. Doesn't matter, it's a victim. And now, this one dies. She was my friend. And now I'll never get to see her beautiful little wooden yellow smile ever again. Goodbye, Jeannie. And that makes his bloodlust go up again. And that's his turn. So now we haven't ended the finale yet because there's still terror left. We rearrange items, which I don't need to because I have the beautiful whistle. And now we are done. Now, when does the event... There's these cool event cards, but I don't know what they do. And I haven't nothing's told me to use them yet. I'm just going to take a second and refer to my rules guide. Aww. Oh, I didn't play the game right. Surprise, surprise. The event cards are what you're supposed to do at the beginning of the game. So this is the event card. Boyfriend. If he's willing to die for me, who am I to stop him? The victim closest to you is now your boyfriend. If the boyfriend dies in your space, start the next action phase with 12 time. So the boyfriend is a blue special victim. Now, I didn't do this at the beginning of the game, so we're just going to do it now. The closest victim is now 1, 2, 3, 4. He's the closest. So now he is my boyfriend. Gosh. Okay. So that adds a kink to my get along. So now it is my action phase. And now we have got to save my boy toy. What's his name? What should my boy toy's name be? I'll let the chat decide. Guys, you decide what my boyfriend's name is. Okay, so I had a plan. Plan is still in action. We are going to search. So I have to roll two dice. I keep saying cards instead of dice. I'm going to roll 2 dice. That is a partial success and a 1. Oh, the focuses are really good. Oh no, my boyfriend's going to die. Well, easy come, easy go. I'm going to discard my 2 focus cards, even though they're quite good, so that I can get 1 success, which I get to take the top item card at my space. And right now, that is the mysterious pills, which is good because my boyfriend's going to die. And when my boyfriend dies, I can drink these pills. And that will get me a little bit happy sauce, which is good. So I have played the search card. My time goes down 1. And then we're going to walk. Let's search again. Can't hurt. Well, doesn't happen. Ooh. Okay, so by can't hurt, what I mean to say is can really, really suck. So I get an option. I can take the top item card of my space, get 2 fear, and lose 2 time. Or I can just get 1 fear and lose 2 time, but not get the item. And, you know, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take the spot. I'm not going to take the item. I'm going to lose 2 time, and I'm going to gain a fear. Or horror. So there's a horror. Lose 2 time. I'm going to drink the pills, because we talked about that being the way that I consume pills. And I'm going to use it for the reduce the fear by 1. Let's see how far up I can get. Reduce the fear by 1. Right there. So, discard. Reduce my fear by 1. Just back at 4. And now we are moving forward. I have one more card left. I'm going to play it because I don't know why you wouldn't play all your cards out. So I'm going to do walk. And we're going to hope for at least one success. Yay! A success and a partial success, which doesn't do me any good because I don't have any cards in my hand. So I can't do anything. So we did it. I get to move one whole space and drop the time by 1. And now I'm out of cards and I don't have anything to do, so we move on to the planning phase. So I get to purchase cards and I only have 2 left. So we're going to take a sprint because sprint seems to be the best way to do this. And he's totally going to kill my boyfriend next turn. Boyfriend is dead. There's boyfriend, 1 space away from killer and going to die. So I'm going to take 1 sprint card for 2, which it runs me out of time. So I return it to 6 and then return my cards back to their spot. Oh. Everybody gets 1. I also buy the 3 0-cost cards that were in the display. And my 0-cost cards go back into the display. And now we move on. Resolve the killer action. We're in the killer phase. He kills whoever's in the spot with him. There isn't anybody, so he doesn't kill nobody. But now we get a terror card, and let's see what happens. Dark Feast. For every victim that is dead, Hans recovers life. Which would be bad had I been at all aggressive. But as I have been a flighty little fleeing person, I have taken no health from him, so there's no health for him to receive. And my boyfriend's alive. Let's see if we can get him back. Panic phase. No victims were killed, so nothing happens. Upkeep phase. There's still terror cards, so we move on. And we rearrange items if we need to. Back to my turn. Oh, there's walking and moving and stuff. Okay. So we're going to start by sprinting. Because, yeah, sprinting. So sprinting means I have to roll 2 dice. And hopefully I get... Oh, no. Run? Where? Anywhere. Oh, noes. Well, okay, so I think you guys can tell that that's zeros. I get so concerned. Lori is so worried about her boyfriend that she takes off, running to save her boyfriend, and immediately feels the effects of the drugs that she imbibed not moments earlier. And her feet get tangled, and she tries to move, and she falls, and she rolls down, and she takes a damage. And she loses a bunch of time. 2 whole time. My other option was to take damage, move 1 space, lose 2 time, and end my turn. That's what that little symbol means. Again, I don't know. You guys probably can't see as much. But that little symbol, which looks like a stop sign with an X in it, is end your turn. Still got some cards. We're going to do a walkabout. Again with the walking. That's behind my head. So we're walking. Still 2 dice. That's a partial success. That means I can move 1 space, which is what we're going to do. I'm going to discard 2 cards to make that partial success a full success. And then move my 1 whole space. Did we name... Nobody's named the boyfriend yet. That's okay. We're going to call him Charles Ebenezer Francis the First. Everybody's a first. Charles Ebenezer Francis the Second. So, C-E... Charles Ebenezer Francis. C-E-F. Seth. Seth! That's his nickname. Seth! No! So I moved the 1 space, lost the time. And now I'm out of cards again, which ends my turn. So, It's the planning phase. I'm going to purchase some action cards. I've got 3 whole energy. We've still got to... Oh, man. We've got to take another sprint. And that's 2. And then a close call, which is 1. And then my focus... well, my 2 cards that were zeros. And then my time resets to 6. These cards come back into the display. And we're moving on up. Moving on up. Killer phase. He kills the person that's in the space with him. There isn't anybody. So, now he flips a terror card. He's just standing there. Yucky. So that's 2 horror. And then he moves 2 towards the last girl or the victim. Now I'm going to just check something. Oh, it's just target closest. And the target closest is Seffy boy. Seffy poo. Fortunately, he doesn't kill anybody. He just moves up and he stands there. I still have 2 dice. And that's what we get. So now it's my turn. All right. We're just going to do it. We're going to sprint. 2 dice. Oh. We're going to close call it. Reroll any 1 die. What we're going to do, reroll all dice for 2 time. So my 2 time, I'm down to 4. Damn it. Lose a life. Lose 2 time. Ooh, not good. Not good. I'm going to try to play a focus. Still 2 dice. That's a success. 1 success is 1 terror down. We haven't played this card yet. It reduces the terror and can increase the time. And it says, okay, I know what I have to do. It's scary, but I have to get over that and focus on my next move. So that was 1 more time and 1 terror gone. And we'll do it 1 more time. I have 1 more focus. So play that there. 2 dice. That's 1 success, which is 1 less terror and 1 less time. And now I'm out of cards again. And unfortunately, I don't have any time either, which means I don't get to do anything in the next turn. So I get to purchase action cards. The only ones I can afford are the 4 zero costs that I have in the display. And then these cards come back into the display. And it's his turn. And my boy toy, Seth, was hanging out. He was just in the meadow, chilling, doing his Seth boy things, eating a croissant with turkey and cheddar cheese and like gherkin style jalapenos. Fortunately, he wasn't going to kiss me later. And Hans comes up behind him, that big old mallet in his hand, and caves his freaking skull in. So my boyfriend dies. And unfortunately for me, that increases the horror. And if I was in my space with him and he died, I would have got a bunch of stuff. But I didn't, so he's gone. And now, is there only 1 event? Oh, okay. So the event card just gets played at the start of the game, and then if it comes up again, which, he's dead now, so nothing happened. I wonder if there's going to get more victims. I don't know. Okay, So that was, he killed my boyfriend because he was in the space with him. And now he plays a terror card. He's just standing there. 2 horror. And then he moves towards the nearest victim, or me, which is that victim there. And that ends his turn. Nobody panics. Well, oh, they do panic because he killed my boyfriend, then moved in there. So now we get to do a panic phase. So panic. I'm going to have to see what that does. Okay, panic. After the killer phase, you must check to see if any victims panic. To resolve panic, roll a die for the victim and consult the numbers on their board. Oh, they're going to run around. They're going to run like chickens with their heads cut off. So here we are at the board. He's here. A 3 through a 6 means that he's going to leave the space with the killer. That's a 5. So this victim runs away there. Okay? So now, that was the panic phase. Now we reveal the finale. And we're going to go from there. So, upkeep, no finale, rearrange items, don't have to. It's my turn. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba. Short rest, weak, walk, eek. And I only have 1 die. Oh man. Okay. It's been a lot. Okay? My boyfriend has been murdered. Seth went down. I could hear his pitiful cries in the distance. And I just don't know what to do. And I'm not good at anything. And I've managed to rescue 3 people, but that's not enough. We're all going to die, man. Game over. And by that, I mean I'm not going to do anything in my turn, which allows me to keep 6 time to spend in the next phase. And the killer's pretty far away, and I've got quite a bit of room to maneuver, so that's what we're going to do. Now, I want to check something real quick. I don't know if we get any more people out. I don't think we do. I think the only time any more people show up is if it happens in a terror card or an event card, which means I might not, unless I rescue all 3 of the ones that are left, I won't get my special effect ability. So this turn is just going to be a nothing turn for me. Lori's going to freak the hell out, rocking back and forth. Don't know what to do in order to get something to do next turn. Her resolve will return in a moment. And we're going to move on. So now it's the planning phase. So I'm going to take all of my 0 cost cards back into my hand. And then I've got 6 energy. So we're going to get 3 here with a distraction. 1 here with a close call. And so that's down to 2. And then 1 more with sprint, which takes me to 0. And now I have all of the cards I could possibly want in order to play next turn. So hopefully we get a hell of a turn next round. But now it's his turn. He's going to stab anybody that's in the space with him. Fortunately, there isn't. Then he's going to flip a terror card. That girl, what's her name? She can help us. Place 2 new victims in the space where you started the game. So 2 new victims, and I think I started right there. There we go. Can you imagine? I was complaining about not having any victims or things to save and events and stuff, and this card does all of it. Now, unfortunately, there's a really bad interaction this card's going to have right now. So that was the first step. The second step is to add a horror. Now, I'm already at 0. I'm freaked the heck out. So when another horror happens, you can't really see it on this board, but there's a tiny little red blood splotch right there. And when this comes down here, he goes bloop, and that gives him a bloodlust, which goes bloop. And when I get that bloodlust, it gives him his dark power. So now we're going to see what the dark power is. And we're not done with this tarot card yet because there's still an event. So that card is feed. And feed, for every victim that he kills, he recovers health. Wow. He is a big, mean boy. So that was his terror, and now it's an event card. So this gets discarded, and an event comes out. And that event is Secret Tunnel. The tunnel was best kept secret of randy teenagers, but now it might save my life. Choose 2 of the following spaces. Switch to the other view so you guys can all see what's going on. So we've got the utility shed. That's this one. The cabins, or the docks, any of the places that you can get items from, and place a secret tunnel on each. You may move between these spaces as if they were adjacent. Enemies cannot use the tunnel. Ooh. Secret tunnel man. Secret tunnel man. I want cabins and docks. Because those two, they're like a good spot away from each other. And if I'm here, I can move over. You know, I can bounce. But if I put one up there, it's only up in that corner. Though that is the farthest away. I'm going to leave it at docks. I'm going to put it on the utility shed. He can't use it anyway. But that gives me a really quick escape that direction. Perfect. Okay? So that was his terror card. So now we're on to other things to do. All right, so I got a bunch of cards to play. Let's see, what do I want to do? Most importantly is I've got to get rid of one of these horrors. I got to calm myself down, which means I've got to focus. Yep. Let's focus. So focus, roll 1 die. I can discard 2 to get focus, which is good because it gets my terror down, which is what I need. So we're going to get rid of weak attack. Oops, throwing cards around. So weak attack and one of the walks to be able to reduce the horror, which gives me 2 again, which is great. Okay. And then I'm going to do a... Oh, and that reduced my time by 1. Let's focus again. Now it's 2 die. That's a win. That's 1 terror, 1 horror, and 1 time. So now that we got that, let's do a distraction. Distraction. I need some sort of distraction to buy myself some time. We really want 2 successes on this. I'm going to play Close Call, which lets me reroll 1. Hey! So, with that, I can get 2 successes. Now, my 2 successes would get me 2 horror back and 2 time if I discard 2 cards, which is what we're going to do. So we're going to get rid of short rest and walk to get the 2 value of this one, which is 2 horror and 2 time. So 2 horror, 2 time. We're back at full time. And I've got 1 card left, which is sprint. We're going to try sprint. That's 1 success, which is 2 spaces for 1 time. And I don't want to play with that guy. I don't like him. I don't want to deal with it. So I'm going to run away. You guys couldn't see where I went. So I was here. And instead of going this way, I could get to this spot with this person and save Derek, Seth's best friend, my boyfriend's best friend. But he's not my best friend, so I'm not going to save him. I'm going to save these 2 people that were relying on me because they're 1 away from an exit. Can't see the exit yet. They're 1 away from that exit. So I'm going to move this way and get them, hopefully, next round. And that is my turn. My turn, my turn, my turn. So I'm out of cards. Now it's the planning phase, and I have 5 time to plan. Okay, improvise is really good. That costs 3. And then we'll do another sprint for 2. And that is all of the cards I'm going to get next round because I skipped a turn and I held on to all my cards. Okay, well, we'll see how that works. Okay. So, but we're back in a really healthy spot on the horror track. I'm all the way back up to the top-ish. So I think we're pretty good there. Now, my time goes back to 6. And all of my cards go back in their spots. So that I can buy them next turn. And now it's his turn. He stabs whoever's in the space with him. But there isn't anybody, so we're safe. And then he's going to flip a terror card. Terror. Hans wants me. He's always wanted me. And that is a final girl icon, 2 movement, and a stab, 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 stab. So his movement is now 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And he's going to stab, which does 3 damage. Oh boy. Oh no. Oh no, no, no. What a terrible, terrible thing. He's going to stab me. So, how does this work? Now we got to read how... Oh my, oh my. So when my health is down all the way, yeah, I should have 1 less because I should only have 5, including that token. So this token here, levitate this up so everybody can see it. So this token here counts as my last life. So I just got hit for 3, which is 2. So this one goes away. And then this is going to flip over. Now, here's the important thing. If this flips over and it's got life on the other side, I live and I get to keep going. If it doesn't, then I mess a well and I die. So let's see what it's got. So I end this round dead. Without any benefit. And I die. And Lori, Lori's done. She's faced the butcher for the last time and came out wanting. The butcher, with his sledgehammer, which is not very butcher-like, has defeated Lori, and so ends the tale of Campy Hamp Trails, or Happy Camp Trails. I died. That game is very fun, and I'm very excited to play again. I might just play again now. I don't have any viewers right now. I'm just chilling, drinking my water. Dying to killers. And living my best life. So I keep looking at the camera. I know that every time you guys see me look off to the right, that's where my monitor is, so I can see what I'm doing. It's no big deal. Thank you for watching. We're gonna just do it again. I'm gonna keep streaming. I've got, let's see, how long am I streaming for? Oh, almost 2 hours. I've got 2 more hours. So we're gonna do another round of this. I'm going to change Final Girls. We're going to reset up. I'm going to have it all going that whole time, and we'll see what happens. I'm going to just start, I think. Okay. Let's reset. Resetting the game after I've died. Resetting the game after I have died. There's no telling how much I could have saved. How many people wouldn't have died had I played better game. Here we go. We don't know what that one was at all. He had no life dead. I got slaughtered. There's the terror cards. Doing this in a weird order, that's the way to go. I'm gonna put those over there and get my items. Alright, let's try this again. So, all the item cards get shuffled together. My events. I'm not gonna shuffle the events because I want them to be different. Items are my friend. They are the best thing. They get the items in your hands and you can kill the killer like he killed your friends. Now that I know how the game is played, let's see if I can set up a better story. Item cards. Shuffle. I don't think there's... So we got to put them in 3 piles. So there's 1 and 2 and 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. Oh, there's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey! Hey! 6 cards each for the items. The item pile is 6 cards each. Okay, so item pile 1. This is going to be the one for the cabins. Has a knife. Great for whittling. Also great for stabbing maniacs. Wonder what that 0 is. So it's got a 0 at the top, and I don't know what that means. So we're going to look at rules. Even though this is the most boring part of all streams, I'm doing it. Here, I'll pull this out so you guys can see. This is a really pretty book. Like, it really... There's a reason this game is so highly reviewed, and it's because it's so clean. Oh, it's the range. You have to be in range with him. Oh, that makes sense. And the damage modifier, and it takes 1 hand. Okay. So. Oh, as I punch the camera. Shook everything. Okay. So, Knifey. It's in the cabins. There's a bear trap. Ooh, bear trap's good. And those mysterious pills in the utility shed. Earl the janitor is in the utility shed with the pills. Let's just randomize things again. Randomize. Mice random, randomize. These tokerins. Okay, that's each of the final people tokens. For Kalife. He has 12, starting at 4. I get all of my 0 cards back in my hand. Yep. Those are in my hand. I have nobody there. That's all set up. Terror deck gets 10 terror cards in it. Hello! Whoever I'm saying hi to, hello! It's a pleasure to have you on the stream. You're watching me reset after getting slaughtered by the killer. But now something will happen. Something truly miraculous. Where I win a solo game on stream for the first time ever. I know it sounds outrageous. But I shall do it. So I'm putting 10 terror cards in the pile. His bloodlust goes down to 0. We're at 6. I don't need that dude. And now a setup card to go into the close-up cam where Camp Happy Trails exists. Great. So I get a setup card. But damn. That's the same one we got last time. Retry. For the bonfire. Okay. So. I'm going to try Lori again. So my final girl starts in this sector. The villain starts in that sector, and then we get a bunch of victims. Oh my gosh, a bunch of victims in the fire pit. Okay, so there's 2 people at make-up point, because of course there are. 1 person on that cabin, 1 person in this cabin, and 6 guys. Six of them in the fireplace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Holy moly! What a pile of guys. Look at all those people. 6 people up there. Okay, well, we'll see how this goes. So that's the setup card. And now the event card. And the event card is Death Wish. During the upkeep phase, move the victim closest to the killer 1 space towards it. Do not count victims currently in the same space as the killer. Whoa. Okay. So they have a death wish and they're trying to die to the killer. That's going to be great and terrible. And we'll see how that goes. Onwards and upwards. Terror cards. Hans, Lori, Final Girl, My Hand, and now the tale of the Happy Trails massacre. 12 years ago, on a night much like tonight, in the swampy land around the lake. The cries of herons, the chirping of bugs, and the croaking of frogs in the reeds were all that the campers heard during their hour of meditation. But something lurked deep in the depths of the lake. There was a monster. We know not where he came or why. It's said he is not even human, but takes that shape. From the murky depths, breaking the waves of the lake, pulled by the moon's light, an iron mask rose from the depths, like a pig. Its ears rusted, corroded with decades of time. The body like that of a huge, monstrous man. Muscles rippling under a thick layer of fatty tissue. And in his hand, a large sledgehammer. It said the butcher gave up the use of knives for being too easy. Years ago, he took up the hammer. What used to be a day's work turned into weeks as he tried to cut apart the flesh of the animals in his shop with nothing but a blunt instrument. He loved the feel of the sledgehammer under his fist as he met flesh. He got so good that one impact would split the muscle from the bone. One day, his assistant was walking into the shop and always questioned Hans why he'd switched from the sensible to the irrational. And he was in the wrong place at the wrong time. Hans's backswing on one large heifer's torso caught the assistant, and Hans experienced his first moment of pure ecstasy as he took his first human victim. Now, many years later, Hans the butcher's form rises from the depths of the lake with murderous intent in his eyes, hidden behind that iron mask. He saw on the cliffside a small 12-year-old boy, Billy, known by his family as a bit of an outcast. The boy was crying, leaning over the rail of the cliff, tears of loneliness pouring off his childhood face. In that moment that Hans saw the boy on the top of the cliff, he was taken back to that wonderful moment when his assistant had got in his way. And so he began to climb the cliff, sledgehammer to stone, like some man in a pot climbing an impossible game. And he came upon that boy, and the boy saw the pig-faced iron mask, and he stopped crying, for he was no longer alone. Nor was his brain alone in his skull when Hans brought that sledgehammer down. Hans continued, his ecstasy reaching new heights. He let the two lovers that he saw on the peak continue as he heard a whistle blare from below, and he followed it back down into the depths of the lake and onto the docks, where he found yet another victim, And then he heard it. And he smelled a croissant laden with cheddar cheese and turkey. And he followed that scent to a young man, 16, dressed in a camp counselor's outfit. And could taste the flesh of that bird in that boy's mouth. And he rent from the boy his arms and his legs, one impact to the next. And then he went into the utility shed where the janitor was sleeping off his nightly imbibement. The janitor saw it and rose or ran away. That's when Hans heard the girl's scream as she saw Seth's body. He knew that she would need to die, for in her face he saw his ex-wife, the one that had left him when he took up the hammer. He found that blonde. Her name was Lori. And he ended her. And then he went back into the waters of the lake. And all remember and know not to eat turkey on the water's edge. And so begins our first round of this new game, where Lori, a young blonde-headed woman, is on the lake side eating a turkey croissant sandwich while the bonfire with all of the campers is happening down at the fire pit. And so begins the game. So I get to start by playing a card. I get 2 dice because my horror level is at the level where those 2 dice get to work. And I'm going to rescue people. I get 2 people to rescue. They get to follow me around if I get there. So we're going to start by... I'm going to try a different thing. I know Lori knows the sandwich in her hand that people are in danger. And so she is going to focus her reserves and think about it and plan out her move and focus. So we get to roll 2 dice. Hopefully I get 2 successes. I got no successes, which means I lose 2 time. That's a great start. Let's try again. That clearly didn't work. She's upset about not being included in the fire pit group today. And so she really needs to think about what she's going to do. And oh my golly gee, it's another failure, which is 2 more time gone. Okay. One last try. She's not in a focused place of mind. She can't think. She's not really, sharp up there. So she's going to try walking. She's going to walk towards where she knows the campers have been. And she doesn't succeed. And she loses 2 time. Oh, what a terrible way to start. She loses 2 time, meaning 0 time. Okay. Here's the worst thing that happens. We're in... One more. She really... Anything happening in turn 1 is going to be a win. And that's 1 success, which means she gets to move 1 space. Putting her in at least a position to do something next round, which drops her to 0 time, which ends the action phase. Now, so she moved from here to here. Now it's the planning phase where I get to purchase action cards for time. Now I've used all my time, so I have no time, which means I can't purchase anything. So then I move on to the next phase, which is all of the 0 cost cards move back into the display to be purchased next round. And we move on to the killer phase. The beginning of the killer phase, Hans emerges from the forest and stabs a tree. Well, he doesn't stab a tree. It's a little dagger, and it makes me think that the killer's going to like, but he's not going to. Instead, he's just going to hit it with a mallet, and then we see what the first terror card is. I fell asleep. What did I miss? I'm going to place a new victim at the cabin. Oh, no. And then 2 horror, which is here. And that is his turn. So now it's panic. That only happens if a victim died, so we move on. Then the upkeep phase, which nothing happens because nothing triggers. So now we're into the action phase, where I only have my 2 cards left. Now, I believe there is some sort of thing where I can discard cards. Discard action cards to gain time. Any point before the action phase ends, I may discard as many action cards as I wish in exchange for 1 time. Oh. We're going to discard 2 cards because we're not in any position to use them. One of them is healing, and one of them is an attack. Neither of which are any benefit to us. So we're going to discard those 2 for 2 more time and end my turn. When I end my turn, I get to do the planning phase, which means I get to purchase cards up to the current time, which is at 8. So I'm going to purchase these 0-cost cards that I used last turn. Then I get 8 to purchase other things for. So we're going to purchase 2 sprints for 4. A search for 2, and 2 close calls for 2. Now I've got a mighty hand. Mighty powerful hand with so many opportunities for the next round, but none of them can happen now. So, Hans the Butcher gets to start his turn. And he starts by slamming his sledgehammer directly into the head of the nearest victim if there was one in the square, and there's not, so he doesn't do anything. So then the next thing he does is flip a terror card. Terror. Flip. He just keeps coming. So he targets the nearest victim or camper, which is this one here. And then he moves, and his movement is at this point just 1. So he's going to move 1. Then he's going to stab them or hit them with his sledgehammer in the case of Hans. And that just kills this victim. This victim dies. Comes over to this place, which gives him a bloodlust, which increases his damage and movement once it gets a little bit further. And then all of the victims that are in the space with him panic. There aren't any, so that doesn't happen. And the end of the turn happens. So now it's the action phase where I get to play cards yet again. And I have this super, super good turn with sprinting and searching and things. So I could move to the utility shed and search, but I don't think that's really going to be beneficial. My best plan is to get some of these campers out of here. We got to get them out of Dodge. And if we look at my board, so I've got 1 space to get to this one guy, 2 to get to this one, or 2 to get in here, and there's 6. And I can only have 2 guys with me at a time. So if I move 2 and then out 2, I can like just ferry them back and forth out of here. Hopefully the killer doesn't come in and mess up my plan. So we're going to start by doing that. Our first step is going to be to focus. So we're going to focus, which lets me roll 2 dice. I can discard 2 to get a success. Yep, we're going to do that. So we'll discard 2 to get 1 success. Which gets me... Oh. We're on the other screen. So, discard that. Get 1 success for it. Which gets me 1 horror. And 1 time down, leaving me with 5 time. So now we're going to start the stuff that actually matters. So we're going to start by sprinting. So sprinting's first. We're going to discard that to try to sprint. That's 1 success. So lets me move 2 spaces, which is all I need to move. So we're going to move 2. 1, 2. And then, that was my sprint. Then, we're going to sprint again. Which, unfortunately, I have to discard 2 cards to do. Now, yep, we're going to do that. So I'm going to use this close call, which is play after any horror roll to reroll 1 die or all die for 2 time. So I'm going to reroll this one and hope for, yeah, a success. So the success means I don't have to discard the 2 to get a success. And I could still, man, this focus is really bad on this camera. Sorry, everybody, where the focus is so bad. Why can't you? It's so bad. Anyway, for 1 success, I can move 2 spaces. So I'm going to do that and lose a time. But my 2 spaces takes these guys and goes 1, 2. And now this little green thing means that they get out, so I get 2 of those guys out of there. And when you get 2 guys out, you get to place them on your card. Now, it's a little far away to see, but there's some good benefits on this card. This one gets me time back, this one gets me life, this one gets me some items and stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to use 1 that gets the horror reduced. Then we're going to do 1 to get 2 energy back. And then we're going to try walking again. So walking is 2. Eek. What a terrible, terrible roll. Okay, so I'm going to use my close call I got last time. I'm just going to reroll 1 die. We're just hoping for a star. I got it! I got a star! I got a star! I'm a star! Anyway, that was probably really loud. Sorry, everybody, that I just peeked out on. So I get to move 1 space. That 1 space gets me over here, which is perfect, because then if something happens, so you guys can't see it, but I'll go to it. So I was here. I got those 2 guys out. Now I'm back here. Lori's successfully saved somebody, 2 people. Now she's back. Now we went through this camper to get to the fire pit to try to rescue some of them. But now I'm in a good position that if I move and I fail and I only get 1 movement, I can move here and get that person out. So I think I'm in a good spot. We're hopeful. I've got 1 card left, but I'm going to stop my turn because I spent money on this card. Money, time. And that walk cost me 1 time, and so that's discarded. End of my action phase. Now we're on to purchasing. I don't have any cards that were free in my thing here, but I do have 5 time. Now, the 1 card I do have is a search, which only benefits me if I'm in a location with an item. But I have 5 time with which to spend. So we're going to take one of these for 3, which is a distraction. That distraction is going to let me distract the killer and hopefully get some of my horror gone and maybe some time extra. So I have 2 left. And the only thing that makes any sense, I think, for me to take is a guard, which is just in case. Now, the way this card works, see, it doesn't have a time effect, so I can play this when he attacks. It's just like a helpful card to keep in my hand. Those blue ones, the Retaliate and the Guard, are both this way, where they can respond to an attack. We're going to have a really boring turn next turn. So now, that was 0. So my time goes back to 6. My cards that I discarded get to go back into the display, which that was a heck of a turn. All my 1 cost. There they are. They're all there. That's my whole hand of 1 cost, 0 cost. Now it's his turn. So he's going to stab. Again with the stabbing. It's a slam. He's going to slam into whatever victim is in the space with him. There aren't any, so nothing happens. Then he's going to flip a terror card. See if this is in a good spot. And flip it. And it says, he wants fresh blood. Blood fresh, he wants it. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. There are lots of victims. Otherwise, he's going to target the nearest victim, move 2, and then attack them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3. That's the nearest victim. So he moves to it. He's got 1 move, which means he can't get there. So he moves 1. Oh. Go back to where you can see. So he's going to the nearest victim. The nearest victim right now is this guy because he's 1, 2, 3 away. These guys are these makeout friends are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These friends with makeout benefits are here. It's either that or they're just, you know, the girl is driven out the car out to the bluff and the boy's not into it and she's trying really hard and he's just not picking up on her signals and he just keeps eating his ham and cheese croissant sandwich. Now this is a good point to mention that I'm gluten intolerant and don't get to eat much gluten, and I really like croissants, and so that's why this ham sandwich is like a thing, or a turkey sandwich is a thing in this game, is because I really want a turkey croissant sandwich, but I can't have them. So it's just about like wish fulfillment, living a better life. Anyway, so he's going to move 2 times, 1 movement each. So he's going to move 1 and then 1 and then he attacks. Fortunately, no bad guys or no victims in that spot. So he doesn't do anything. Now we go back to panic phase. He didn't kill anybody, so nothing bad happens. Then it's the end of the upkeep phase, which, we forgot our death wish. So this guy has a death wish. It's the event that he had. He's going to go brodoop. In fact, he probably would have done that last turn, which means the killer would have killed him, which means he would have died, and that would have moved up. We're going to do that just so that I'm not cheating, because I lost miserably not cheating, so I'd like to win. No, I lost miserably while cheating. I'd like to win not cheating. So that's him. He's killed somebody. Bloodlust went up. Slammed his, let's say it's a sternum cracking attack, and got that guy. That one's Billy Bob Thornton. No, it's not a real person. That guy is Denise. Denise Travis. So Denise died. Killer's there. We've got all of these people in the fire pit still. And it's the end of the round and we're going on to my turn. Oh, we still have the death wish. This is closest, so that guy moves 1 space there. And now it's my turn. I don't have much to do, unfortunately. I've only got 3 cards and only 1 of them is useful. So I'm going to use my 1 card, which is distraction. Roll my 2 dice, and of course we're hoping for 2 successes. We got none. We can discard 2 cards. Or we just... Oh, God, that's so bad. Oh, we'll do that. So, distraction can still reduce the horror by 1, but it costs 4 time. Which is okay. We're just going to do that. And that's the end of my turn. Which means I only have 2 time left to buy cards with. I'll buy all of my 0 cost ones. And then I've got 2 time left. I can buy anything for 2. We're going to take a sprint because sprint is the thing that will let me get in and out. And then we're going to move on up. All right, so that's that turn. This moves back to 6. It's now his phase. This goes back to its spot. Now it's his turn. So he's going to attack whoever's in his spot with him. There isn't anybody, which is really fortunate. So he flips a terror card. Terror, terror of the night. He's just standing there. He targets the nearest thing and then moves 2. So the nearest guy is that guy. So he's going to move there. He's just standing there, so nothing happens. But the horror level goes up 2. That's what that means. And then he targets the nearest guy, which was that victim. And then this moves 2. Okay? So now it's the panic phase. You didn't kill anybody, so nobody runs away. It's the upkeep phase, which means the nearest guy that isn't in the villain space moves towards him. I think that Lori being right here, Lori totally makes it so that this guy doesn't just run away, which I think is going to be fine. So he stays there. One of these guys is going to pop up here and be friends with the killer. Just so bad. They look so cute together. Look at the killer's just surrounded by these kids. He's just a happy, happy guy with a sledgehammer. Bloody, bloody, bloody sledgehammer. That's the end of that. And now, I get to go. So, we need to save some peeps. Now, if I do this right, I could hop up there, get those guys out. Ooh, yeah. So that would be... I'll flip back so you guys can see my planning. So with sprint, gives me 3 moves. So I could go 1, grab those 2 guys, 2, 3, to get rid of them. Or if I fail at this sprint and I can only move 1, I can get this guy out. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to try a sprint. So here we go. Sprinting. We're looking for 2 successes. 2 successes. Well, that's not 2. That's 1. That was nothing. So I have to discard 2 cards to be able to get 1 success to move 2 spaces. Which I think is what we're going to do. So we're going to discard 2 cards. So I'm going to discard my focus and my short rest to get 1 success, to turn that into a success, so I can move 2 spaces. And that will let Lori valiantly come in here, see him, and then grab these 2 friendly folk and move 1 space back. All for the cost of 1 time. Now, I'm going to walk. Same intention, but I only need to get 1 space to get out of here. Oh, well, okay. To get 1 space, I've got to discard 2 cards. Still worth it. We're going to discard a walk and a focus to move 1, which means I get these 2 guys out of there. And it costs me a time. Now I've got 2 guys, and I get to put them on something. I can get 2 time back, which is what I'm going to do. Which takes me back to 6. And I'm going to take an action card that costs a maximum of 2 time. Or do I just get 2 time back? Actually, yeah, let's do that. Take an action card. And that action card is going to be sprint. So I've got 4 people out. And he is on his way. Yeah. So yep. That's it. Okay, so that's the end of my turn. So now he's going to, so these I'll go over here. Now I get to buy. I've got 6 left. So we're going to buy some good stuff. So we're going to buy Planning, which costs 4. Planning's a cool card I haven't got to use yet. It gives you extra dice. So that's really cool. Planning's cool. And then Improvise. Ooh, Improvise costs 3. And it makes 3s and 4s. We'll do that. So we'll buy an Improvise for 3. And then we will buy a Close Call for 1, which leaves us with 2 left. And we'll get another Guard for 2, which takes me to 0. So then this resets. All my discarded cards go back into the spot they came from. Great. And now it's his turn. So he's been swinging that hammer wildly, and he misses those 2 guys. Lori jumps in, takes him, grabs him by the scruff of the neck, runs for it. The killer swings around, misses everybody, and then something terrible happens. He just keeps coming. So he targets the nearest survivor or me, moves and attacks, which is not great. So he's going to move into what I assume is this place, attacks them, which is this, which gives him an extra bloodlust, and then he's done. Now we get a panic moment. So they all got scared. Oh, you guys didn't see any of that. Oh no, okay, so he was here. This guy was here. He moved here to the nearest spot, killed one of them. And now this one is going to panic. So he rolls a die. He rolled a 5. So 2 through 5, he goes this way. So he's going to move there. So they panicked. Now it's the upkeep phase. Now we're going to do it the one that wasn't. But somebody always moves towards him at the upkeep phase, which is so silly of them. They really have a death wish. So they've moved. Now it's my turn. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to improvise. Improvising is still rolling 2 dice. Then I'm going to use Close Call, which is reroll after any horror roll to reroll 1 die or all die for 2 time. We're going to reroll 1 die. Didn't do anything. So I need to discard 2 cards to get a success, to turn this into a success. And that means for the next horror roll only, all 3s and 4s are successes, which is good. Because I have a sprint. So now I roll 2 dice to see if I can sprint. I got a 3, which counts as a success, and a 5, which counts as a success. So we are at 2 successes with a sprint. That lets me move 3 spaces. And I'm going to move... Oh, boy. What do I do? Do I save? Yeah, so it's going to cost me 1 time. So I'm going to move 1, grab him, 2, get rid of him, 3 to go there. Then I get to place him somewhere. That lets me move a space. I'm not going to do it because now I'm where I can use my search. My search is in the dock. So we're really going to hope for some successes here, because if I don't succeed, my search is going to fail, and then I will be stuck here at the dock. That's a failure. All right. All right. I want it. So I'm going to take the bear trap from the dock. So this is the failure condition here. Take the top item of card of your space. 2 horror. So I get the bear trap. 2 horror, which is 1, and then 2 takes it down into the bloodlust zone, which pushes him up to the bloodlust, which is another horror, which is a bloodlust, which is the dark power. Oh man. And then 2 time. But that wasn't great. So what's his dark power? Feed. Every victim that Hans kills, he recovers life. And I've got the bear trap. I'm going to use 2 time to set the bear trap. So that lets me put the bear trap icon on the space that I am on. If the killer enters the space, I discard the token, immediately end the killer phase, and the killer takes 2 HP of damage. So fortunately, I'm in the same space as him. If he targets me instead of the victim, he's going to kill that victim this turn. And then if he targets me, he will get attacked. So that's the end of my turn. I've got 1 time left, which means I get to buy cards. So I'm going to buy all my 0-cost cards again, because this is like, why wouldn't you do that? Then I have 1, which means I buy the close call, which puts me at 0. Ends my turn, moves that back up to 6. These go into their spots. So that's a search card, that's a sprint card, that's an improvise, and then that's a guard, a weak attack, and close call. Okay? So all that's reset. Now it's his turn. He's going to swing that hammer like just a freaking crazy man. He's swinging the hammer at the guy that's in the same place with him. Hans wants to cut some flesh with blunt instruments. So he does that, kills this guy. This guy dies, which increases Hans' bloodlust. And now Hans gets a terror card. And the terror card is raw terror. Let's see what it does. Bam! He's just standing there. Yes, he's just standing there. Now, so I changed it to this camera so that you can see my reaction because I think I'm going to be very interesting. So this card, unfortunately, there's 2 terror there, which because I'm so afraid right now, means that he's going to get a lot of bloodlust, which isn't great. But what's the best part is you see that little symbol there, that's the wrong side, there. That means that he's going to target me. And as we just said last round, I've placed a bear trap. So when he gets into my space, it's going to snap on his foot, it's going to hurt him, it's going to stop him, he's not going to do anything else on his turn. Unfortunately, that's just movement. He wouldn't have attacked, so it doesn't avoid an attack, but what it does do is hurt him. Which is good because it's going to give me a chance to try to save the 2 victims that are still on the board. So that's that. So now let's see it happen. So he's going to move. He moves 1. That's not the right way. 1, 2. Bear trap hits him. He stops his turn. This gets discarded. He loses 2 life. And now he is done. So now it's the panic phase. He killed the victim, but he's not in a place with the victim. But the victims do have a death wish. So this one, you can see it over here, is going to move 1 onto the cliff. They're done making out. Now he's just very interested in this butcher guy with that iron mouth. What could be under it? So now it is my turn. So let's see. I've got some action cards here. Only a couple of which are movement, which is fine. We got to get out of this place. So first things first, we've got to focus. For focus, I only get 1 die, which is why I was saying I need to focus. Ugh. Okay, we're just going to take it, lose 2 time. We're going to focus again. Yes. So that gets us into being able to roll 2 dice on our turn, and that loses me 1 time. Now we're going to go on walkabout. Here we go, walking. 1 success for 2 cards. Better than nothing. So I'm going to play after a horror roll to re-roll 1 die. That's this one. Hey, there we go. So I can discard 2 cards, which I will do, to move up to 2 spaces, which I will go 1, 2, and now we're friends. Our friends here, and we are done. Oh, I lose 1 more time. This gets discarded. Now we're done. Now I can buy with my 2 time. I've only got 1 thing I can buy. Well, I've got 3 things I could buy. 4 things. I could buy a sprint, a search, a guard, or a close call. I'm going to take all of the cards that I discarded last round. I'm going to take 1 sprint. And then all of the cards that I played this turn, which were mostly all my zeros, go back into the pool. And next round I'll have access to them. So now it is his turn. He's going to swipe at anybody that's in the same spot with him. Fortunately, as we can see, there's nobody in the same spot with him. So now he's going to move. Well, no, he doesn't move. He gets a terror card. Terror, 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 terror. Okay. That girl, what's her name? She can help us. Place 2 new victims in the space where you started the game. Bummer. Okay. So I started the game over here. Then I get a terror, or horror, which means I'm down to 1 die again. And we flip an event card. Fresh meat. Oh, man. Welcome to Camp Happy Trails, where you'll make the memories that will last until you'll die. So I get 2 new victims at the cabins, 2 new at the docks. Oh no. And 1 victim at the fire, and 2 at the fireplace. Whew. That's a bunch of people for him to go murder ladling. And what it does mean is I need to move. Yeah, okay. So, that was it for that. That's his turn. Wasn't great. But, now it's the panic phase. He didn't slaughter anybody. So, those 2 guys that are there don't matter. And now it's the upkeep phase, which is the person that is nearest to him moves towards him. And now we are doing that. So that's the end of that round. Now it's my turn. So I am going to sprint. Sprint! Oh no! The most I can hope for. Tarnation. This is discarded. Okay. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's real bad. That's a nothing. And nothing means that I take damage and lose 2, or I move 1, take damage, lose 2, and end my turn. Well, that's okay. I'm going to do this first option, which is move up to 1 space. And then take a damage, lose 2 time, and end my turn, which is that stop sign. 1, which is okay, we'll end my turn. I was going to end it anyway. And then I get to buy things with 4. So I buy all of my zeros again. Then I have 4. I'm going to take a distraction because I got to get rid of that. And a close call for 4, which takes me back to 6. And all this comes back into the tableau. And now it is his turn. So he's going to start the turn by stabulating somebody. So that's a stabulate. Then he gets a terror card. Throwing things around. Terror. There's a terror. Unholy Rage. Hans deals additional attack or damage on each attack, and he gets 2 extra health. Boy, I am going to get stomped. This is the story of how I get decimated. So, onwards and upwards. Bought that, did that, put those there. He attacked, he did the thing. Now they're going to run away. So there is one guy in the area with him. So that guy is going to run away. He rolled a 2. So he moves to the lake. He went swimming. So that guy's went swimming. It's now the upkeep phase, and somebody still has a death wish. So we're going to make the guy that didn't go running have a death wish and go into the space with him. So now we're back to my turn, or Lori's turn, as it were. And Lori has a bunch of stuff she can do. We're going to start with a distraction because I've got to get more dice. And we're really hoping, we got to get a star, guys. We need a star. I need everybody who's watching, who's actually paying attention, to cross their fingers and to hope that I get a star so that I can do something. Okay, so fortunately, I have a close call, which lets me reroll 1 die for a star. Oh my golly, gee willikers. I did not get any stars. So I have an option. I can lose 4 time, which is what I'm going to do, to get the horror up 1 notch, which gets me 2 dice, which I think is valuable enough to do that. Then we're just going to walk. I get to move a space. And lose 1 time. We're going to walk 1 more time. Well, let's go. I can discard 2 to move 1 space. Which, don't you know, that's what we're going to do. That is 1 more time. Now, we are now to an interesting point of the game where you can see on this board that I am at 0 time. But you see there's a little notch to the left. That's because you actually don't end your turn until you are in negative time. So I have an opportunity right now to get 1 more action done. And I'm going to use this one, which is focus. I get to roll 2 dice, and we're really hoping for 2 stars. That's 1 star. It's better than none. So that 1 star gets me 1 more horror up. And I lose my time, which puts me at 0 and ends the turn. Now, because I'm at 0, I don't get any new actions this turn, which is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. And now I go back up to 6 time. These go back into the pool for next turn. And oh, he killed somebody. He got life back. That's it for my turn. It's his turn. He's going to swing wildly, sledgehammer in hand, just crushing skulls. Children's heads, unfortunately, go rolling, and this one dies, which heals him another one. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. So he's at full health again. His bloodlust goes up 1, and my last girl is not doing so hot. So that was that. Now he gets the terror card. Terror! Terror of the deep. He just keeps coming. He's going to target the nearest. So we'll go to this one. So he's going to target the nearest victim. And he moves and he attacks. So he kills another one. And this goes up and my horror goes down. And then he's done. So now we're back to my turn where not a lot of stuff is going to happen. I'm going to play one card, which is Short Rest. I got a success, which is all I really wanted. I don't have cards to discard, so I lose one time and I heal one. So I'm back at full health. My whole 5 versus his 12. You should have one less than he does. And that's that card. Now it's the end of my turn, so I get to purchase cards. I'm going to purchase all of my zeros, and I have 5. We got to get these guys out. So we're going to take a sprint for 2. A improvise for 3, and that's everything I can buy. Short rest goes out. Time's up there. They panic if there's anybody in the spot. There isn't anybody. The nearest one is going to move 1 towards him. That's this one. And then it's my turn again. So we've got to get these guys out of here. So we're going to try... Okay, first things first, we're going to focus. So with a focus, discard 2 to get 1 horror up, or discard 4. That's what we're going to do. We're going to discard 4 to get 1 horror up and then 2 extra time. Then I'm going to sprint. Yeah. All right. I got a 0 and a 2 to make it a full success. So I'm going to discard 2 cards that cost me time to buy to be able to sprint my 2 squares so that I can get some more people out. So I'm here. I can move 1, pick up another guy, 2, and get them out of here. So now I've got 1 more healing, which I can't take, but I've got all 6 people. And now what's cool about that is once you fill all these 6 squares up, or squares, meeple spots, you get to flip your card. And that means whenever you're in the same space as an enemy and inflict damage, I get to deal an additional damage, which is really good. And for each additional victim saved, I gain time. So I saved an extra victim, which means my time goes up 1, but the sprint action cost me 1, so I'm still down at 8. But that is going to be the end of my turn. I successfully managed to get him there. Now, I've got to get some damage out because he's going to get maxed out and I'm going to die. And that's going to be real unfortunate. Every time he kills somebody, he's healing. Every time I hit, I deal extra damage, but I have no weapons. So I've got to get some stuff. Now, I've got a knife at the cabins, which is way over in the top left of the map. There's pills and a first aid kit at the other 2 locations, and he is right now 2 away from getting to me, which isn't so good. So now it's the end of my turn. I have 8 whole time to buy stuff with, but we're in the end game. So I'm going to take the retaliate that costs 4, this one that was 0. So I'm down to 4. I'm going to take a sprint for 2. leaving me at 2, and I'm going to take the 2 close calls so that I have something to do if he gets to me. So now I have a retaliate, a short rest, a sprint, and 2 close calls in my hand, ready to go at the end of the next round. All my cards come back in to where they can go. And I will mention, I had an improvise last round that I didn't use. I used it to play the sprint. I should have used it before I did anything, but I forgot. And so I hope that doesn't kill me. It's the end of my spending. My time goes back up to 6. And now it's his turn. He's going to swing wildly at anybody looking at him. There's nobody in that spot with him, so he doesn't kill nobody. That's this spot here. We can see he's in the lake again, his favorite spot. He's going swimming. There's no campers swimming, so there's nobody with which to impact in the head with his sledgehammer. So now he flips the final terror card. So last game, I got slaughtered 3 turns before the last terror card was grabbed. But now, this here is the last terror card. And once this happens, the finale starts. And our girl Lori has no weapon, full health. She saved a bunch of people. But her enemy deals 5 damage per strike and has 14 life, which may or may not end poorly for Lori. So let's see what the final terror is. Run for your life! If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. There are victims. Otherwise, all victims that are not in your space must panic. Okay, all victims are panicking. So let's go back to the close-up cam and see what happens. So we've got 2 in the cabins. First one got a 1, one got a 4. In the cabins, that leads over here. Make out point. There's only one of them. 3 to 6 moves over here. This one has 1. Got a 2. 1 to 3 takes him to the dock. This one, 1 to 2 sends him to me. Woohoo! Hey! That actually was pretty beneficial to me. So now we do the other part. He kills, or he attacks, the nearest victim or final girl, but there aren't any on his space, which is good. Then he moves towards the nearest victim. And that's it. So now it's the panic phase. He didn't kill anybody, so the guy in his square does not run away. And so we move on to the upkeep, which was reveal the finale if no terror cards are left. Here's the finale. I'm switching to this angle because I like this camera better. So that's what we're doing. Now, this is the finale. Hamza's final ability, the thing that will probably slaughter me, is coming out. Let's see what it is. I'll show you guys. Dark, darker, darkest. And so what that's going to do is it's going to... Oh, it's really bad. Oh, it's really bad. Oh, gosh. Okay. Oh, gosh. Okay, so... every turn now, he's going to target the nearest anything, move twice, which at this point is 4 movement, and then attack them. And when this card is revealed, he draws a second dark power. Here's the dark power cards. He's going to draw one. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. He draws this one. I'm not looking at it. I'm going to show you guys first. So there's that. And boom. We see it at the same time. I'm going to read it. I can't aim. Blood Frenzy. Epic Dark Power. For every victim that Hans kills, plus 1 bloodlust. I wonder if I'm supposed to play with epic ones, or if that's like just going to kill me real fast. It doesn't matter because I'm going to die. This is not good. Not good at all. Okay. So now he hits like a truck, heals all the time, gets stronger. Oh, man. Okay. So what am I going to do? It's my turn. It's a tough time for Lori. Well, I mean, first, okay, so we'll go back to the scene. I'll show you what I'm going to show you. So, I'm right here. Killer's up here. He's in a spot that he can get out. And because I'm in the spot with him, I can just be like, go away. Horatio, leave. And so Horatio goes, whoa, okay. And leaves, which gets me an extra time. Then I'm going to sprint. Oh, you guys aren't on the screen where you can see me. I rolled a bunch of stuff that's bad. I'm going to use Close Call, that card, which lets me reroll all the dice for 2. So I'll spend 2 time. There we go. Move up to 2 spaces. 1, 2. Oh, again, I'm like going too fast. So I was here. I got one guy out. Now I'm going to move 2 spaces. 1 space, grab him. 2 space, out. Get this guy out, which gets me another time. And then it's the end of my turn. End of turn. End of turn. Gonna die. Gonna die. End of my turn. Gonna die. Gonna die. Gonna die. Okay. So I get 6 time. So I'm going to get all of my 0 cost back. And I get 6 time. So we're going to definitely spend 2 for a guard because that's needed. We're going to spend 3 for an improvise, again, because that's needed. I'm down to 1. And, well, maybe... you know what? I will just take an improvise. And then I have 3 more. I'll take improvise and a search. Fine. I won't take improvise. So I had 6. I'm going to take a search for 2. And I'm going to take a planning for 4, which is 6 total, which doesn't waste any time. Other than the time that I wasted figuring out what I was going to do. So anyway. Okay, so that was my turn. Now it is his turn. So he's here. He starts by swinging. So he takes out small Timothy the Tiny. He's an underweight 14-year-old boy who had been at makeout point hoping that a girl would come and had just went to the cliffs to look over onto the lake and was immediately assaulted by the big scary butcher man and is now dead. When that happens, the butcher man gets a bloodlust. Then he gets another bloodlust because he's getting 2 each time, which doesn't really matter because he's already maxed out. Then he's going to come for me. Oh, sorry. Messed that turn up a little bit. So he's got this new... I hadn't got to play with this yet, but what he was doing was he was just attacking whatever was nearest to him at the beginning of his turn, but now he targets whatever is nearest to him, moves and attacks. That was that little kid that he just killed. So he's not going to come after me, which is good because I would have died. I've saved a lot of children. I continue to try to save them, but they can't all live. So then it's the terror turn. There isn't a terror card anymore. I think that once the terror has happened, once the finale is open, yeah, he doesn't draw a terror card. So he's just going to do that at the beginning of every turn. And we're just going to keep going. So now it's the panic phase. There's nobody in the square with him. But it's the upkeep phase after that, and we have people with a death wish. So unfortunately for everyone involved, one of these dudes is going to move closer to him. And now it's my turn. With all of the cards. Look at all this. This is great. That's excellent. What we're going to do is we're going to start by using our plan. So we're going to go plan. Oh, these should have went into their spots at the end of that turn. So we're going to plan. Yep. Planning. 2 dice. We're hoping for 2 stars. Okay, that's all right. It's all right. That was not a star. So that's 1 star and 1 thing. Now, is it worth spending 2? Yeah, totally. So I'm going to spend a focus and a weak attack to get 2 up. I did this in a really, really dumb way. So this is where I tell you all why I'll lose the game. And it's because I spent 4 time last round on buying this planning card with the knowledge that I was going to use it to search. But I didn't play it at the right time. So rather than searching with an increased 3 dice, I get to move with an increased 3 dice, which has 0 benefit. So rather than discarding these 2 cards, I'm just going to take the dumb hit that I wasted my planning card at the wrong time and move with them, which is just such a bummer. So I get 2 extra dice for the next roll. I spent a time because I got a success. And now when I lose, because I'm not able to search through the deck of the location that has items, you'll all know that it's my fault at this exact moment. So I'm going to walk with 2 extra dice. Hey, look, I did it. I get to move 2 spaces, which doesn't matter. At least I move any. Okay, so I move 2 spaces. I'm going to move here and get to the dock and stop. Then I'm going to search. Search, I don't get these 2 extra dice. One success. And I'm going to use Close Call, which lets me re-roll a die, which came up blank. So I can take the top item card of my space, which is a first aid kit, so I'll do it. Let's read what the first aid kit does, shall we? First aid. Step 1, stop the bleeding. Step 2, stay alive. It lets me use an action card to recover health. Oh, okay. It heals me extra, and it uses a hand slot. So now, we'll keep walking. Is that a good idea? No, we're not going to keep walking. We're going to focus up. Discard 2 cards to do it. We're going to do that so that I reduce the horror 1. And then we will be done with this round, which means I have 4 energy. I'm going to buy an improvise and a close call. Then my time goes back up to 6. These go back into their respective locations. And it is his turn. So he's going to target me. We'll go to the close-up for this finale. He's going to target me. He moves twice, which doesn't matter. And then he's going to hit me for 5. Again, for those in the back row, he's going to hit me for 5 damage. I am going to retaliate. I've been holding on to this card for ages. So we're going to retaliate. So if I get 2, I ignore all damage from the attack, which is really what I have to do. So I'm going to roll 2 dice. I only got 1. We got to use the close call to reload that 1 die. We got it. Oh, no. Okay. So we need to discard 2 to be able to reduce the damage by 2 and deal 1 damage to him. So he was doing 6 damage. Now it doesn't matter. Okay, well, I'm still going to die. I mean, it takes it down to 4, which is okay. So I get knocked down to 4 damage. So I take that 4 damage. Then I hit him for 1. And that retaliate card is gone. Oh, how unfortunate. Okay. So he's done his thing. He attacked me. He hurt me. I'm down to 1. So I'll get to flip that at the end, but I do get 1 extra die because that's on my 1 right there. So I will get some extra dice. Now that was his turn. So now it's the panic phase. Nobody died. It's the upkeep phase, which means this silly dum-dum moves towards us. And now it's my turn. Now I don't have any cards in my hand that I can use. So I just have to end my turn. I'm going to end my turn, which gets me 6 energy. So I'm going to get... So first, I buy all of my 0 cost. Then I'm going to buy a guard. Then I will buy... So the guard was 2. A sprint. Sprint is 2. And I need that close call for 1, which leaves me with 1 extra, and then I'm just going to let it go so it goes up to 6. These cards that I played last turn get to go back in their respective spots, and we are ready for the killer phase. Fortunately, I bought a guard because I know he's going to hit me. So he starts by targeting me and attacking me, which he does. That's going to be 6 damage for all those at home paying attention. I'm going to guard him. Which I got 2 successes, which means I ignored all damage. Yes! Suck it, Hans! Now it's the upkeep step. This little silly guy moves 1 closer, and it is my turn. It's time, everybody. It's time to improvise. So I get to roll 3 dice because I'm still on my last health. 3 dice. I'm going to use my close call to re-roll 1 of those dice. That got me my 2nd success, which now, everything I use in this action phase, a 3 or a 4, one of those partial successes, automatically counts as a success. Cooking with gas, everybody. Cooking with gas. All right, so now we're going to focus. That's 2 successes, which means I reduce the horror and I gain 2 time. Then we're going to punch him in the flippin' face. 2 successes, which is 1 damage, which will come off his Holy Rage card, which gets rid of that extra damage he was getting. Doesn't really matter because he's dealing 5 damage, but I mean, let's hold off on that for a second. So that was my weak attack. That didn't cost any time. Now, we're going to go sprinting. That's only 1 success. So we're going to move 2. It costs 1. Move that way. Oh, you guys couldn't see where I was. I was here. Oh, I didn't go to it. Go to it. I'm there. I'm going to move 2. It's going to go 1, 2. Then we're back. I'm going to walk. That's 2 successes, which means I get to move 2 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2. Now I've got this friend with me. And then it loses me a die. But I think it's worth it because it can get me 3 life back. So I'm going to spend the short rest. Which I got 3 successes. So I get 2 health back plus the 1 from my first aid kit, which means I get 3 life. And I'll read that card. I'm out of breath, and these wounds hurt like hell. I've got to take a break, even if it... Wait, what am I saying? Okay, that's long enough. So now, that was the end of my turn. I still have 7 time left. I'm on the other side of the board from him, and we are good to go. So now, I get 7 energy to buy cards. I need to buy a guard. Actually, we'll do a retaliate for 4. We'll buy the 2 0-cost cards I've got in here. And then we'll buy a sprint, a search for 2, and a close call for 1, which is 3, which puts me at 0. Back to 6. The cards go back in their spots. And now it's his turn. So he has 6 movement. I think he can get to me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, unfortunately for this guy, he's the nearest. So Hans goes 1, 2, 3, swings, and kills him. Which means he would recover HP, which doesn't matter because he's full health. Doesn't matter. So in the round, the guy that's with me has a death wish, so he moves 1 step towards Hans the Butcher. And then it is my turn. We're back with 6 energy. I'm down to only having 2 dice, which is okay. And we are going to walk. The walk. That's 1. That's okay. That's exactly what I needed. So I'm going to move. So I was here. I'm going to move down to that space, which is a space where I can get some stuff. I'm going to now get that stuff. So that's a search card. Search card. I'm going to roll for it. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep those search cards rolling. So I do not... Okay, so I've got 1 success. Now, punched a Jiminy Christmas. Just punch my camera. I'm going to get the knife. So, I get the knife for the 1 success in 1 time. Should be 2 time down because I walked. And now, we're going to have a knife in our hand. So I have a knife and a med kit, 1 in each hand. The knife has 1 extra damage, which is good. And that is going to be my turn. So I discard those. I've still got these 3 cards in my hand. And do I want to try that? Yeah, let's try a focus. Before I end my turn, I'll focus. Didn't do anything, so we're not going to worry about it. Focus is gone. Cost me 2 time. So I'm down to only having 2 time to spend. It's the end of my turn. I'm going to buy things, my 2 time. So I'm going to buy all the zeros. And then 2 time, I'll buy a sprint. No, let's buy another search. There's something good. That's an axe in the cabins. Okay, so now it's his turn. This guy is now the closest to him. That's the one that's in that corner there. He's going to move. He's going to move 5, which gets him over there. And he's going to swing that sledgehammer, and he's going to myrtlate another guy, which bloodlusts him twice, which doesn't do anything because he's still full health. And that's his turn. Now they panic. There's nobody there. Upkeep is nothing. There's no victims left. So it's just him and me. Down to the end. So now I'm going to play some cards. We've got 6 energy. And we are going to search. Start with a good old search. That is no successes, which is a big unfortunate. So I'm going to play close call, which lets me reroll both of them for 2. That's 1 success, which is good, because I want that axe. Now, here's a rule thing that we need to be aware of. The axe takes 2 hands to use. I already have both my hands done. Until the next upkeep phase, I cannot switch this axe out, even though the axe is way better than my knife and first aid kit. I'm now going to focus. That's 2 successes, which is 1 horror and 2 time back, which takes me back up to 5 time. And I am going to short rest, which is 1 success, which is 1 health, which is my max, and lose 1 time, so I'm down to 4. And we are going to stop there, which means those all get discarded. And then I am left with 4 time to spend on things. I'm going to buy planning. Yeah. Planning. And then that is all 4. We're going to reset, and I will be back in just a split second with the end of this game. I think my close-up camera might die. So 1 second. And we're back. Okay. So, we just reset that stuff. My turn was over. Now it's his turn. He's going to come after me. He's going to move 1 and attack me for 5. 5 damage coming to me. So I am going to retaliate. So, that's a success. That's good. Reduces the damage by 2, which means it's only 3. And it deals him a damage. Now, it's the end of the round. So we do, we get to move some stuff around. So I'm going to move my first aid kit and knife out and move my axe in to my hands, which means I have 2 attack extra. So we're just going to attack him. We've got 2 die. Yeah. I don't have enough things to discard to make that second one a success. So unfortunately, I'm going to deal 1 damage, which is 3 damage. And I'm going to take a damage. Now taking that damage gets me that extra die. And I'm going to use it to go walkabout. So we're going to go walking. I get 1 success, which means I get to move up to 1 space, which doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to move there. Now, I have 5 energy. I'm going to buy all of my 0 cost. And I'm going to buy guard for 2. And improvise for 3. And close call for 1, which takes me to 0. Go back to 6. The cards go back where they belong. So those 2 ones there and retaliate here. And it's his turn. He's going to move. Right now, it doesn't really matter where he moves. He can get to me. He's going to hit me. It's fine. I've got to play guard to block it. I have 3 dice. I only get 1. We're going to spend 2 of them. We're gonna spend close call and reroll 1. Yes! Yeah! That's completely blocked. Booyah! Suck it, Hans. All right. That's his turn. What you got? You ain't got shit. So that's his turn. He attacks me. That's it. Upkeep phase. I get to rearrange items if I want to. I can't. We are going to focus up. So we're going to start by focusing. It's not a good roll. I don't feel like discarding anything, so we're just going to take that hit to my time. We're going to focus again. Oh, gosh. Didn't do it. So we're not going to discard any of those. We'll just fail it for 2. Yuck. Going to stop there at 2 energy. We'll discard 2 cards to get 4 energy to buy retaliate, because he's going to hit us next round, and that's it. So that's all my energy, or my time. These go, oh, and my zeros, I guess. And then these go back in their spots. And it's his turn. He's just going to hit me, so we're just not going to worry about it. He's going to hit me for 5 again. I'm going to retaliate. I'm going to roll 3 dice. That is 3 successes, which means he is completely blocked and 2 damage. And because I have the axe, when I have 2 damage, I deal 2 extra damage, which is 4. Oh, we're going to get him. We're going to get him good. There's 3, 4. He's only got 4 life left. I'm gonna kill a killer. Alright, now it's my turn. I have 6. We're gonna hit him with a weak attack. That's 2, which is 1 hit, which is 3 damage. And now he is down to 1 HP. It is the end of the round. So I'm going to be done. I'm going to spend 6. So I can buy a guard and a furious strike. And then with fury. And then he gets to hit me. So he's going to attack me for 5. We're going to use our guard. Well, poopy. That's bad. I have no way to reroll. I am... Hello, Johnny Lingster. How art thou? Thank you for watching. You're here for the climax. The final strike, as it were. You're also here to watch me do a lot of nothing, because I have to discard both sets of these cards to block all of the damage, to not be able to kill him next round. Good. So I've got to discard 4 cards to block all of the damage that's coming at me, because he's dealing 5. Or I take it, and I hope that this has healing behind it. What a decision, what a decision. What should I do? What should I do? You know what? Anybody who's paying attention in chat, Johnny, you just got here. I don't know how long you've been watching, but I've died once already to Hans. I'm fighting him now. We're at the climax. Everything's happened. He's been swinging. He's killed 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 children. I've saved 2, 4, 6, 8. I've saved 11. So, you know, the balance is equal. Oh, it's a really good game. I really recommend this game. The question at hand. If I discard these 4 cards in my hand, I will... Here, so that you could see me. If I discard these 4 cards, I will survive. But next round, he will get to attack me again, and I might also die then. Or I can hang on to these cards, which are pretty much, these 4 cards combined, are an assured demise of him at the start of my turn. But I would be relying on... Ooh, Zombicide's good. But I'd be relying on one of these tokens having health. So I either discard these and survive for sure, and maybe die next round, or I don't discard these and rely on the heart of the tokens to tell if I heal and don't die. That's the question. Rely on the heart of the token, or maybe, you know, survive one more round. Go with the token. All right. Decision made. Okay. So I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to bring it up. That's the token. That's the little guy. So that's what it looks like. That's terrible. I'm trying to do it where I can't see what's on the back. So there's that. His damage, he's dealing 5 damage. If the back of this has life on it, I survive. If it does not, I die. So let's see. I'm going to flip it over, and you're going to see before me because I'm closing my eyes, and I don't see. Does it have health on it? Oh my god, it's got 1 life. Yeah! Yes! Thank you. Thank you. I would have played it safe, and I would have eked it out another round, and then I would have died. But because of you, Johnny, I live. With 1 life. So he knocks me down. That 5 damage goes to my 1 health. I get back up again, and I get to attack him. And we are going to hit him where it hurts. So I'm going to start with the planning card. I'm going to switch scenes again so you guys can see it. Planning card. Boom. Gosh, I can't believe you got me to get the token. That's so good. I need a plan. Think. Wait, if I just... Yes! That could work. Oh, it has to work. So I'm going to do that. I get to roll 2 dice. Yeah, because I think I lose that one. So I get to roll 2 dice. Hoping for... Oh, no. Okay. That wasn't good. But when I lose it, When I fail, I get 1 extra dice, my horror goes up, and I lose 2 time. So 1 extra dice, which means I'll get a 3rd dice. My horror goes up, and I lose 1 time. So now we're going to Furious Strike. 3 dice on the table. This is it. These 3 dice come up with even 1 star or a partial success. I win, and I will destroy Hans and all of his family, and he will never return. Except for Camp Happy Trails 2 and 3 and 4. And Hans versus aliens. Here we go. Yes! Ha-ha! All right, we're even going to throw in the last 2 cards I've got in my hand to deal. Oh, hang on. We're not going to throw those cards away. He might be alive still. So we're going to deal a damage, return a horror, and end my turn. And my turn's done after this. But now he has the same token. And if this has heart on it, where is it? There it is. If that has life under it, he survives. That's a blank. This is a blank little token. That means that I kill him, and he's a dead killer. So I win. I win. Ooh, there's a cool thing when you win. Oh my god, there's something I get to get. Okay, so that was it. Hans, the superpowered butcher, fighting it off, killing 12 different innocent children. And Lori, the final girl, taking him down. And it's all because of Johnny. Johnny with the token. And yes, Shia LaBeouf would be great. I'm sure you could do it. I'm sure actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf could totally be a villain in here. Oh, it'd be so much fun. I wonder who's the closest one. I've only got... So, I'm sure you probably already know this, Johnny, and then anybody else who's like looked at this game before. Because of the way it's set up, there are... Yeah, you'd have to make a custom for him. I don't know. Yeah, I haven't played very many of them. This is just the one box. And Johnny, because I showed everybody already, I got to show this off. Let me pull some stuff off here. So, this is the coolest thing about this game. Not the coolest. The coolest is that the game's really fun. But right, so there's the core box, which is required to play the game. And then you have to get like supplementary movie boxes. And each of the boxes has a final girl, well, 2 final girls, a location, and then the killer. And the location and the killer combined into like what the movie would be. And then once you have them, you can mix and match. But what I didn't realize was, so this box opens like this, right? Like it just opens like a normal box would. And there it's open, right? Like there's all the stuff in it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, normal box. Yeah? But the other box, and I don't know, I didn't see this about the game before, but I thought this was really cool. So here's the box, the supplemental box. This is one of them. When you open this one, you open it like you try to open the other one, but the whole top just falls off because the back of it is the player mat for the bad guy. It's like take it off the screen. So that's the player mat for the bad guy. And the flip side, which this is the other final girl it comes with, right? The flip side for this one is the freaking map for the location. I just think it is the coolest, is the most uniquely and interesting designed box. And the more boxes this you have, the more of these you get. It's just so cool. The game was really fun. It really showed, like it felt like I was fighting through. The victims moving were silly. The way that the events interact If anything, I wish I had, and maybe this is just a me thing because I like narrative games so much. Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I'm probably overly exuberant, but look, even when you open up like the side that has the Hans, so this is the Hans cover. The side that has the Hans cover has a little, like half the box tells you what was there. Right? This is where Hans is. Tells you where Hans is. And then the other side has like a little plastic cover on the tokens so they don't fall out when you flip it over, because the flip side is the Camp Happy Trails location. It's just so good. But anyway, I was giving my review of the game. This is the first time I've played it. I played it once and then I died. And then I played it a second time on stream today and I won. And gosh, it was just so cool. When the finale comes out, all the victims are dead. Like, you really watch the rest of them die. You're finally the last one standing. And you're kind of in a position that you can fight him off. It's really cool. I can totally see... I'm probably going to play this on stream a few more times. Get a couple of the other boxes. Because it's just so much fun. I got to figure out how to make it so that you guys can see it a little bit better. But man... it is single player only. There's no multiplayer. I think the idea there is because you are the final girl, you're playing the final person, of course. So I don't see how they could do... It'd be one of those multiplayer scenarios where like whoever ends up being the last one alive turns into the final girl. But then you run into like that board game problem of, when there's diminishing players, the last person always ends up kind of alone. And everybody else is bored. So I think the way this worked is really functional for what they're doing. And really quite fun. Really good as a single player game. And I hope fun to watch. There's one more thing I get. And this is if you're gonna get the base game and the cards, like the stuff from the Camp Happy Trails box, this might be a moment that you want. I mean, I can ask you guys. There's these two little secret envelope-y guys that you get to open if you win a game with the character that you were playing. And this says, do not open until you've survived a game with Lori. Now, I just survived a game with Lori. So I want to see what's in this envelope. So I'm going to open it. If you are afraid, if you have terror in your heart about being spoiled for this thing on my stream as being like the one or two people that see this, stop watching now. But I'm going to open it, and we're going to see what it is. There's a little envelope. There's a little thing. Ooh. So it's a special item card. It's called Lori's Bow. The item can only be used when Lori is chosen as the final girl. To incorporate Lori's Bow into your game, simply shuffle it into the chosen location deck or of item cards before setup. If you'd rather ensure that it's present in the game, deal out the appropriate number of item cards less 1. Then shuffle Lori's Bow into the deck before dealing out the separate item decks. Huh. That's awesome. What's it do? So it's this cute little bow. I say cute because it's a tiny little card. I won nationals with this bow. I never miss, and that's not going to change today. Lori's Bow cannot modify an action card and must be used without one. It costs 1 time to fire an arrow, and you can shoot from up to 3 locations away. Wow, that's really good. Only problem with this bow, I don't know if you guys can see the bow well enough. There are 3 arrows there, and that is so not how people shoot bows. Now, I don't know if there's like tokens there because they're only supposed to have 3 arrows. Maybe that is what that is. It looks like there's supposed to be 3 little spots there, but it doesn't say anything on the card. But that's still pretty cool. What a rad little like benefit for killing somebody or winning, surviving when you play that girl. That's awesome. What a cool game. I really enjoyed that. I hope those watching on the stream did too. We're almost to my 4-hour mark, so I think I'm gonna get off here shortly. I mean, my close-up camera is nigh dead. Anyway, that was it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's anything you guys wanted to say or chat with me a little bit, I'm gonna start cleaning up. But you guys can pitch in on chat. That's Final Girl, and that was Lori kicking ass as the final survivor against Hans the Butcher. And yeah, you should check it out, man. Let me know what you think. That whole like, follow, subscribe thing people say now. Do that. I hope you guys really liked it. I'm going to be streaming all the time. Johnny, if you just came on because if you just randomly found this, this is sort of the interlude streams where I do solo and... Oh, you did? Oh, awesome! Yes, thank you. I'm new. I'm trying to get this going, but my big tentpole productions is I have a 4-person game of narrative style games, and it's called King's Dilemma. This stream is called King's Council, and it airs, except for this Friday, every Friday, where we play a group of noble council members and we role play, and it's just a blast. We have a lot of audience participation. I'd love to see you there. And thank you. I think you might be the first person that I don't know personally in IRL that subscribed. So thanks a lot, man, or person. Thanks a lot, human. I really appreciate it. Oh, you do? Okay, fine. Well, that makes it easy. I'm gonna find you now and stalk you via Twitch. Cool deal. Well, that's it for me. I'm gonna sign off now, but that was Final Girl, and thanks again to everybody who watched. I hope you tune in next time.